You're listening to the Boxing Coalition.
And he just broke the guy's heart. The guy had nothing left, and he knew he couldn't last another 4 or 5 rounds.
Ricky Wars just knocks the soul.
What it is, let's get it.
Fuck that, this your cat, nigga. You hear me?
Let's get it.
Go kick his motherfucker.
Get that motherfucker in there.
Let's see you do this. Little step back, bang, bang, bang. Little step back, bang, bang.
Bang, bang, bang. Bang, bang, bang. Try and stop it. Bang, bang. Here I come. Bang. You want to throw sometime? Bang.
Body shot. Boom, 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 boom. You go to the body. Kill that body. You took his nuts, now you gotta take his heart.
Yeah, take his whole soul away.
Yeah, get out of here, Dale. I'll see you later. Find someone credible. Get out of here.
He was higher than a motherfucker. I'll tell you, he was stoned as fuck.
No, it's only a majority decision if there was an even score. There's no even score here. You're an official, right? You're an official of the state. Well, then you don't understand how to score.
Oh, my God. Unbelievable. The crowd here on Fuego.
He's ready to be whooped, man. He's ready to be whooped. He's ready to be whooped.
And Alan Foster has stopped it. Wow. That is going to be controversial.
But you really liked to stand toe-to-toe with him in the 12th round, even if you thought you won the fight. And it was on. Did you like that? I love you.
Hello, and welcome to the Boxing Coalition, a place to discuss anything boxing. We have a rotating panel of hosts that consist of Chemo, Mao Alpha, Cam, Daniel Lim, and MV Chu. If you want to have your say, call in on Skype. Just add Box Coalition and get involved in the show.
Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of the Boxing Coalition. My name is Cam. Joining me tonight, MV Chu, Leon, Ari Gold Boss. Hope you guys are well. Mayweather Pacquiao finally happened on Saturday night. For me personally, bit disappointing. You know, these mega fights, I should have known, they never really turn out into a great fight. But I did get caught up into the hype a bit later on, Friday, Saturday. But before that, I was a bit salty like Monocle. But MV2, what did you think of the fight and some of the controversy and comments afterwards?
Manny, he's over. Manny. The fight was shit, man. All I've been hearing ever since is Manny. Just a lot of people crying. Floyd was the better fighter. Manny Pacquiao was disappointing. I think he's injured, but I'm not going to make excuses. No right hands from Manny. Look at that fight. No right hands whatsoever. If it was just adrenaline. It was momentum from a flurry. They were talking about in the HBO commentary, like he wasn't using the right hook. If you're going to beat Floyd, you're going to need to throw that right hand. He wasn't throwing it. It was like back to the old Manny of the 1990s. You know, just put left hand, just that little kind of flicker out with a jab and then a left hand, and Floyd could read it. And Manny was lunging in. Manny was lucky he didn't get knocked out the amount of times he was lunging in. But that's not what Floyd was there to do. Floyd was there to just sneak one, which is his right, you know. But everybody was talking about the physical advantages that Floyd had. Size, reach, he looked bigger. But, you know, he wasn't fighting like that. He was fighting like, oh, this guy's a killer. I better just box this guy. And he did. And he won. And it was comfortable. But I wasn't impressed. If I was a casual fan watching that, I'd be like, what the fuck is this, man? And
yeah, it did more damage than good.
It fucking certainly did. And you'll be hard-pressed to get a casual fan who, if they paid that amount of money, to watch the fight again. A fight again. Not the fight again. A fight. Any fight. I think you've just kind of abused their trust. But hey, what can you do? That's Floyd Mayweather for you. You know, he won the fight. Good luck to him, but I hope he never fights again.
Give him crow, Cam.
There's a bit of salt there, I think.
Give him that crow, that salt.
He's not been crow.
Ari, let me ask you, what did you think of the fight, and have you already spent the money you won off Chew?
I'd say I spent around £15 of it. Bought a nice pizza today. Big bottle of Coke as well. So yeah, I'd say I only got like £5 left of it.
Is that a Floyd Mayweather pizza? It just ran away when you tried to touch it.
No, I didn't see running, to be honest. I saw defensive work, and I saw chess, and I saw someone getting shown up in the ring and embarrassed. That's why I didn't see no running. He wasn't, it wasn't like Oscar Trinidad where he's moving around constantly. He was on the ropes there. Pacquiao was scared to come in. Obviously, something in the early rounds had Pacquiao scared to commit. Because, Floyd started kind of fast. He came in, landed 2 big right hands, I mean. He controlled the distance. Pacquiao was scared to commit. So all these people I see, because I went bed, I couldn't go to sleep. I was high on energy drinks anyway. So I had a ESPN stream and I was listening. They were shitting on Floyd, they were hating. Everything blaming Floyd, but last time I checked, if you've watched boxing, that's how he fights. He's defensive. He doesn't take risks. I agree he could have done more. If he really turned up like he should have, like parts of the level where he did turn up, he could have, you never know, maybe he could have got him out there. I don't know, but
No.
he definitely could have turned up on the right hand. The right hand,
should have got him out of there.
That right hand was there for him all night, and he should have been throwing it more. I was, when I was watching it, I was asking him to throw it more, man, because Pacquiao, I don't know. Guy's crying, but it's really Pacquiao. Fuck Pacquiao, man. I don't know what you guys saw, but that's the thing, the distance, the reach. Just if you're scared to commit and you're not going to do it when he's on the ropes, then how do you think you're going to win? I didn't hear no adjustments from Roach. I barely heard Roach. I heard one of them Filipino guys who I don't know his name. You speaking the language. I don't know what Roach was doing.
Honestly, his physical condition has just went off a cliff, and I'm not saying that to be funny. He can barely talk now. I'm looking at him like, fucking hell, man, how are you even standing? I'm not even joking with that. Like, if he was talking and I was like, what the this is like, how are you fucking? How could you? How you should have retired? The only reason he was in the corner is for this fight, and I hope Freddie retires now.
He needs to retire because he spent 5 years coming up with a plan, and there was no plan.
Yeah.
5 years.
Because Manny's injured.
Oh, come on.
I'll behave yourself, Chew, man.
Chew, come on.
He shit the bed.
Listen, he would have lost even with his injury.
Chew, I saw right hooks. He actually, one of the best punches he landed was a right hook. So I don't want to hear this about he didn't throw right hooks. I'm trying to find this graphic image for you because from one of my forums where he threw a wild right hook and it didn't get nowhere.
So
it's all about distance.
Is that Exhibit A? Is it?
No, but it's a wild hook. Where if you're shoulder, as you say, you wouldn't be able to throw it because he ripped it. He ripped the hook. I'm trying to find it for you. Don't worry, but I don't want to hear it, man. I really don't want to hear excuses because it's just funny. When he's in the ring, he didn't say that. He said, "Oh, I thought I won the fight." Of course, he realized that ain't gonna fly. Max stuck it on him. After the fight, Aaron's must have gone to him. Because he ain't going to retire. They still got a contract to 2016. Obviously, they're trying to save face. They still want to sell pay-per-views after the fight. They need to think of some way to put doubt in people's mind that maybe he can still do it, so they can keep selling pay-per-views. He doesn't want to go back to HBO like how Canelo has to. Canelo,
wait a minute, Ari.
Is he on pay?
Flomo, Ari.
Flomo, because I'm keeping it real. I'm keeping it real.
No, you're keeping it TMT.
I'm not keeping it TMT.
I'm presenting an alternative argument.
No, you sound like a
sparring partner.
You're sounding hurt. I didn't see I didn't see no sparring partner actually.
I'm financially hurt. And
sounding hurt.
Listen, Pacquiao's my boy. I'm just giving you an alternative argument. Did you not see the sparring partner coming out with that statement saying he was injured?
No, I didn't.
Well, it was on
that's
Twitter.
So pull out the fight, postpone it. You don't go into a fight injured. If you're injured, you're supposed to pull out, aren't you? I thought that's what postponed fights are for, to pull out to when you're fully fit so you can actually win the fight. I don't want to hear I've lost, but no, I've injured, so I should have, I could still beat him.
Well, listen, if he pulled out of that fight, he might never get the opportunity again. He waited fucking 5 years for it.
You got to decide, mate. You got to decide. If either get embarrassed like you did, or pull out.
Yeah, I have to.
And then it's another kind of embarrassment.
I have to agree with Harry, to be honest. It's like you can't take the fight and then complain you were injured, to be honest.
No, he was in a no-win situation.
No, take your medicine like a man. That's what champions do. You don't bitch out after the fact.
Yeah,
exactly.
One more fight.
We all know Martinez had a shot knee. He wasn't crying about his knee after the fight. Come on,
what's the famous one with what Hearn fight was it where he went into it injured and he never said anything for like 15 years? One of his big fights. He was injured in one of his big fights, and he didn't say anything for years and years and years. Because his point was, you don't bring that shit up. You go into a fight and you fight, or you pull out.
I don't know.
Anyway, but that's what you got to take. You take it like you're meant to be a champion. You got to take that loss.
So just to play devil's advocate, right? I'm just here. I'm giving you an alternate. Can you see like Evander Holyfield scene, like Lomachenko scene? Could you see Manny Pacquiao possibly winning that fight?
Me?
I'm just saying, could you see that?
I couldn't know.
I was looking to give him rounds. That's what I could see. I was trying to help him because I've got an 8-4, and if I really want to, and a couple of them rounds I'm giving him are really, they're 50-50s. Where I'm thinking, you know what, just take it, Pacquiao. All right, just take it.
Where's your scorecard, though?
I've got my scorecard right here. If you want to hear it.
Let's hear it. What rounds did you give him?
Is it really that close? Does it really need to be given out?
Well, what rounds did you give Pacquiao?
Hold on one sec.
I gave him 4, 6, 10, and 12. And 10 and 12 I only gave him because Floyd ran.
I gave him 4, 6, 9, and 10.
Floyd didn't throw one punch in that 12th round.
First time I watched it.
He landed more than Pacquiao in that round. He actually did.
Well, he landed more than Pacquiao, end of story, but he ran.
That's the only round you could say he ran, and that was only really the last 30 seconds.
It was horrible, that fight to watch. Like, can I just say, first of all, Mayweather has proven himself to be the best fighter of his generation, and I hate the man with a passion, but he's the best fighter of his generation. I'm happy to say that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
He's earned his stripes. Manny shit the bed and turned up horrible, and it's on him. But also, Floyd missed the chance. Like, both fighters missed their opportunity to be great last night. They both had enough, Pacquiao. Why didn't he he just did nothing in those last 6 rounds, did he? Why didn't you just go out on your shield, man? Just do something. He was just stumbling around soulless in those last 6 rounds.
Okay, first time I watched it, right? 2, 4, 6, 9, and 12. I gave to Pacquiao.
Yeah.
And then 7-5 Floyd. Alright, okay. Second time I watched it, I gave Floyd the second round. So I gave Pacquiao 4, 6, 9, and 12.
And 3.
4, 6, 9, and 12.
3 was a 50-50.
Yeah, it was.
Like, see if so is 2, to be honest. The only definitive rounds I gave for Pacquiao, I thought, were 4, 6, 9, and 12. 9 and 12, I thought Floyd just kind of had a rest.
I think 2 was easy for Mayweather for me. The 3 was the hardest one. When I watched it the first time, I gave it to Pacquiao, but I feel that was being a bit generous. Really, it should have been a Floyd round, I think.
Yeah, I've heard it said on other podcasts. It was kind of like Canelo Lara. Like, I saw one guy pressing, one guy initiating action, and the other guy circling, pot shotting. Great, he won. He's the best fighter of his generation, but I really don't want to fall into cliches about how good he is and shit. To be honest, I know how good he is.
Do you know what it's like?
I didn't.
Yeah, go on here.
I didn't see. There was a bit parts of circling, but it was. I didn't think it was extreme. There were a lot of times he was in the middle of the ring, waiting for Pacquiao to do something for him to pull the counter, and obviously Pacquiao was scared to throw the hook or throw the punch or throw the right hand on the left because he knew the pull was coming, because it's all about controlling the distance, where Floyd had the distance down from like the first round, and obviously he's got 5-inch reach on him. Yeah. Pacquiao scared to lunge in. A couple of times he lunged in, he nearly got checked left hooked. You know,
Yeah. Pacquiao was just
as well.
coming straight towards him every time.
Yeah. Again, exactly. Where was the angles? He wasn't even really hopping on his feet. I'd more believe if he said he had some kind of leg injury, like a groin or something. I'd more believe that than the right shoulder, because where was his footwork?
Well, if you actually read the sparring partner's statement, he said that Manny Pacquiao has not been in training for the last 3 weeks. Which I don't know. He's been training in like a basement in the wild card, so who knows? So I just think he wasn't sharp. Yeah.
I just think it's too late. Who cares? Who cares what his sparring partner says? It's too late. It's too late, man.
Chance.
It's too late.
For the fight. He got his opportunity.
I never want to see the fight again. I never want to.
I'm never going to watch it again. I've watched it once. I'm never going to watch it again.
Yeah, I've watched it. I've watched it already on HBO.
See, can I go back to my point? Is Floyd, if he wants to be, I don't believe in these mythical lists and all that shit. But if he wants to be great, he had his opportunity, because he could have got him out of there, man. He could have got him out of there in those last 4 rounds. He should have got him out of there. If he's what he says he is, to be really great, he should have got him out of there, because he was stumbling around, soulless, doing shit. He should have got him out of there.
Nah, I think honestly that when like Manny Pacquiao's big 4th round, when he landed like a big shot, I just think that Floyd was just kind of laying against the ropes, kind of just to excite the fans, kind of. He was just like, okay, I'll make it a little bit interesting. I'll just kind of lay in these ropes.
Dude, so Hamada's saying I'm salty. I'm not salty. I said he's the best fighter of his generation. He should have got him out of there. He let greatness slip through his hands last night. That was his big moment, man.
But he never hurt Pacquiao once.
No. But you know what it's like? It's like, remember watching Italian football in the 90s? Like, no one could sit through a whole game of Italian football in the 90s.
On Channel 4 at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
You appreciated it, and it was good, and it was defensive, and you understand it, but you don't want to watch it. That's my problem with Floyd. I don't like his style. But he's the best fighter of his generation.
That's a good example.
I'm happy to say that.
That's a good.
See, since we're talking about analogies, I'll tell you what it was like. It was like a fart under the covers. You might be impressed. It might make a lot of noise, and you might be impressed when the smell goes beyond the covers. But at the end of the day, it's still just a fart under the covers.
What the fuck?
How am I? Everyone's in the chat saying I'm being salty. I'm giving the man his due, man. He's the best fighter of his generation. What else am I meant to say?
I think they're just trolling you, but let me just give my opinion.
Bums. You're all bums.
I think, obviously, Floyd won convincingly. I was impressed. Pacquiao, for me, injury or not, I think the whole injury thing is just a cover-up now. Kind of agree with Ari, just because he wants to get a few more fights out of the way. If he says that Floyd beat me convincingly, then he has to retire, because who else is there to fight in the division? So I think that's definitely an excuse. But I think Ari's talking about there wasn't much running. I think in the later half of the fight, in the last three rounds, there was a bit of running. And in the early half, maybe the first 4 or 5 rounds, there was a lot of clinching. Anytime Pacquiao would get close and start throwing combinations, Floyd would just grab him and hold him. So that definitely fucked up Manny's flow. But Manny just looked a bit clueless in there. Like, he was pouring the jab. He wasn't throwing as many punches. He was lunging in. But props to Floyd, man. Floyd's movement was great. He was spinning off his front toe a lot, just getting out of the way. And yeah, it wasn't a great fight to watch. It didn't really do our sport much justice. Like, if you just look at Sky, for example, they fucking promoted the shit out of this fight. And, you know, for the time we stayed up to watch it, it wasn't a great fight. But that's kind of how this year's going for me. Like, there's no notable fights I'm remembering, man. Like, boxing's been poor, and I thought maybe this is going to be the one, but I kind of agree with Leon, man. Pacquiao shit the bed a bit, so that's my opinion.
Where was the plan? I didn't see the plan, this plan that Roach has had for 5 years. And I know maybe it's because he's injured, but there didn't seem to be any focused plan of attack at all.
I tell you what, Manny Pacquiao kind of reminded me of Ruslan Provodnikov in this fight. He was just kind of plodding forward, kind of aimlessly.
Yep.
Maybe it's a wild card thing. Maybe Dan's our boy in the wild card. Maybe he fights like that. Just kind of headless chicken, just fucking winging it. I think you should change trainer, Cam. What do you think?
I think it's a bit late now. I think, he's been with Freddie for so long. I don't think a change of trainer was going to do him any good. I just personally think he should retire. He's got a good amount of money. Who else do we really want to see him fight? Obviously, there are guys that would make good fights, but people will just say, well, he's shot now. So if Khan beat Pacquiao, they'd be like, oh, well, Pacquiao's shot. If other guys at 147 who can have fights with top ranked fighters, if they beat him, they're going to say, oh, he's shot. I could see maybe Arum trying to feed Pacquiao to Crawford, just to kind of make Crawford the next pay-per-view star, but I don't think he wants to do that to Manny, man. I think he wants to let Manny go out on wins rather than being fed to someone, but it is a business, so I could see it happening.
Yeah, I could see Crawford beating him at this point.
Yeah, especially with his range and his jab and his movement. He'd just keep Pacquiao at the end of it.
Yeah, that'd be a good fight. I think what you really need is a kind of progression of the next guy who's going to be pay-per-view, who's going to be the next king. And to do that, historically, boxing's always had the guys who are the mans, like the best fighters of that era, fight the guys coming up. So it's just like a kind of smooth transition, like Oscar done with Floyd and Manny.
Yeah.
But you need to beat those guys in order for the kind of baton to be passed. Unfortunately, fucking no one can beat Floyd and no one can beat Manny except, Floyd can beat Manny, but no one really else can beat fucking Manny, so it's been fucking tough. It's just like you're stuck with these two old aging fighters until someone fucking really puts their nail in the coffin,
They need to go for the good of the sport. They've had their time. I think it's just they should both step up. Well, Floyd's got one more fight, and then that'll be it. Manny should just retire now, I think.
Guys in the chat suggested maybe Pacquiao versus Batista. Chu, what do you think of that?
Yeah, that'd be a great fight, but I really think they would put Pacquiao against Matisse, because I think Matisse would really hurt him. Yeah, just ice him, especially with that chin. After the Marquez fight, there's not really been a opponent that Pacquiao's faced since then that could really put hands on him and hurt him. Like Brandon Rios was too slow, Algieri was too Algieri, Bradley was too he was fast enough, and well.
Chu, you still there? Leon, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, okay, must be just Chu then. Thought it was me first. I thought my connection went. Ari, you still there?
That's just me and you. And
all right,
this can get really fucking salty now.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here. I was on mute.
I think it's just Chu. What was Chu talking about? Matisse, fucking hell, that'd be a good fight, man. I'd like to see that. Maybe.
But I don't see that happen.
Why not?
Who do we think Mayweather will fight? His last fight. That's the one you want to. That's got to be. You think he'll fight Cotto for that middleweight title?
I could see that happening.
Yeah.
But I can't see.
Would Cotto have enough time?
I can't see Heyman
No,
working.
he won't have enough time, will he?
I can't see Heyman working with Rock Nation, though, can you?
Exactly. So yeah, that fight's out of the window.
I think it might. I'd still like to see that Furman fight just to see what happens.
Yeah. Yo, Chu, you back?
Can you hear me?
No, yeah, we can now, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Chu, check that what I just posted in the Skype chat.
Alright, boys, I think we got my boy Nayota on the line. Nota, you there?
I will.
Yeah.
What's happening, Nikki?
Hard work, man.
Nota.
Hard work, dedication in this motherfucker. That's what's happening.
Nota, what did you think of the fight and the aftermath?
I thought Floyd did what he had to do. I thought Floyd won the fight easily. And, Manny looked clueless. Manny Pacquiao looked clueless, just the way that I felt he was probably going to look, unless he was willing to just go for the gusto and go out on the shield, and he wasn't. So, I mean, there was a little bit amount of tension, I'd say, through about the first 7, maybe 8 rounds, just because he was able to make at least a couple of those rounds interesting with a couple of shots that he managed to catch Floyd with, knock him off balance, and then start flurrying the way that he sometimes does. But once Floyd recovered from that stuff and he was able to feel some of Manny's power, it didn't seem like it really affected him. And he pretty much went on about timing him, pot-shotting him, and frustrating the hell out of him. You know, every time Manny would come forward, try to do those little, like, you know, basketball footwork jukes or whatever, Floyd would just pretty much take a step back, and it was like he had to reset all over again. And he really wasn't doing much to change anything. And just like Chu said, you know, supposedly Freddie Roach has had this game plan for the last 5 years, and, you know, Floyd was ducking Manny, right? You know, he's going to fight me. Yes, oh, right. And it looked like Manny couldn't duck those motherfucking right hands that he was getting hit with all night.
Don't you think Floyd should have done more and just got him out of there?
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, actually, I thought he was turning it up a little bit in the 11th and the 12th round. I thought he was sitting on a few of those shots. Well, actually, I thought he kind of sat on some of those shots. I think it was in the 3rd or the 4th round too. Like there was that part where he kind of where they were in the midst of the throwing at each other, and Bayless had warned Floyd from holding Pacquiao's head down. I thought some of those shots he was actually trying to really drop him with. But I think after a couple of those shots that he tried initially, he let his foot off the gas until the last 2 rounds, where I thought he tried to put it on Manny a little bit more until probably like the last 30 seconds of the last round. And then he figured, well, fuck it, I'm not getting the knockout now, so I'm just gonna coast the rest of the way. But I do think he tried to sit on the shots a little bit more, but you know, just with a still eye on his own defense, like he tends to do. But, I mean, I think a lot of people are really misguided, you know, criticizing the fight, quote-unquote, and criticizing him for the fight. You got to criticize the guy that's either not skilled enough or not willing to go out on his shield.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. It's on Pacquiao, but...
Yeah. No, I wasn't necessarily
But he missed
saying
his chance to be great. That's what I'm saying. I still think he could have made a massive statement.
You know, Maidana did it.
Yeah.
And Maidana is supposedly a slow bum, so, I mean, what the fuck? Right?
Yeah. Pacquiao shit the bed. I don't understand why he didn't go out on his shield. He did nothing in those last 6 rounds.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and the thing is, you know, it kind of reminded me of the Manny of the 3rd Marquez fight. He was like trying to box with the boxer, and in that 3rd Marquez fight, you know, most people remember the aftermath of that fight. They thought that was the most boring fight of their 4-fight series, because it was 2 guys on the back foot trying to counter each other. And that's pretty much what it was right here with Manny and Floyd, the same deal. And that played completely into Floyd's hands. You know, I mean, he out-threw Manny. I don't really put too much faith in CompuBox stats as far as landed punches, but in thrown punches, I definitely do. And, I mean, just, you're not going to beat Floyd throwing fewer punches than him unless you happen to catch him and do some type of Mosley shit, rock him, and then finish him.
Yeah, well, someone not known for counterboxing tried to out-counterbox the best counterboxer in the game. Yeah. That's nothing. Pacquiao seemed like he done the same mistake Canelo made, where he tried to box with him. It's just not going to happen. People expect him to win due to, you know, the amount of punches he throws, high activity.
Yeah.
Even if you're not landing, you're out. You know what I mean? You're throwing much more than Floyd, who's always known for not throwing more than averaging around 30-odd punches a round. Yeah. Apparently, he said in the pre-fights that he was looking to throw at least 80 a round. I don't think he threw it out in any rounds. So.
Yeah, no, he didn't.
What's that to say?
And I mean, all you gotta do is look back to the Maidana fight, look back to the Castillo fight. Hell, you could look back to the Jesus Chavez fight. It was guys that created chaos. They would throw flurries. They'd like sidestep on the inside, and then they'd push Floyd back and throw more flurries. You know, from all angles. You got to create chaos in there. You have to make Floyd react and keep countering right at the split second. If you give him time to think, then he's just gonna, you know, continuously drown you. But I mean, as far as where they go from here, I mean, the thing is, Floyd only has one fight left, and I think he's only going to have this one fight. The way he sounds on the mic and everything, and the post fight presser, I think he'll probably either go out if the Thurman Porter fight comes off. I think the winner will probably be the front runner. Otherwise, I think it'll probably be Khan. Otherwise. And then for Pacquiao, I think really Aram's probably going to plan on feeding him or trying to feed him to Crawford. But I imagine he'll probably take him back to Macau, China. You know, give him a recovery fight, maybe against like a Yi Yang or something, because that's a hometown guy, or maybe some other fighter, and then have him fight Crawford, and then have him fight Crawford in Vegas, and maybe Crawford will become Aram's new guy. And then, I mean, shit, you know how Aram does. You know, he'll probably say some shit like, oh, Mayweather retired to avoid this guy or something.
That's true. That's true. Anyone else got any thoughts about the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight? While we just quickly discuss the undercard and get some callers on.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that he dropped all the belts after it.
I don't think he's 100%
He hasn't done it yet, has he?
I think he's mentioned.
He hasn't done it yet. That was just something that he said. But I mean, I think really that might just be a sanctioning body. I mean, a sanctioning fee thing.
Which is bollocks. It's hardly any money, so that just proves how much money means to him. Money's more important than anything to him, isn't it?
Well,
he doesn't give a shit about the sport.
I mean,
that's the problem. He doesn't give a fuck about the sport.
Well, do the ABCs give a fuck about the sport?
Probably not.
BBC, the WBO, and them.
But he's the biggest name, so it looks worse on him.
But I wouldn't say it's a sanction thing. Wouldn't he have to pay the sanctioning fees for this fight?
It's peanuts to him. I thought he's spends £1 million a week.
Well, actually, that's. I don't know if what is that going to be, like 20% for the three of them? I don't know if that's peanuts.
Yeah,
that's quite a bit.
I think just if he's retiring, he might as well. Hamish also told him to do that so his fighters can get some of them. Like I guess Furman's going to be the WBA now. I think Khan's on the rankings to fight for the WBC. Hopefully, fight someone's good. Because it looks like it could be decorated going by rankings list, and that's a terrible fight. But WBO must probably go back to Aaron fight, must probably like Bradley versus Vargas, I guess. They're trying to make that. So yeah. Bradley must probably get his WBO back. Khan maybe get the WBC, you know. That's how I see it. I got no problem with him vacating. I'm actually happy vacating. Get some new champions. If you're on your way out, might as well. You don't need the belts for your last fight.
He even said that too, that, you know, some of these young fighters need the exposure. That, you know, they need those belts in a way for the exposure.
I see no problem with him vacating.
Yeah, neither do I. I mean, you got to think. I mean, everybody knows who the champion is, regardless of if any of these other guys collect a belt. And if anything, if any of them do collect one of those, then it makes them more marketable to fight against him, potentially.
And he hasn't fought at light middleweight for over a year, you know. That middleweight's been messed up for a while because he's been holding the belts up.
Yeah, he's fucked that up.
I wouldn't blame him for that. I'd blame the fighters at light middleweight for not making the best fights for that. And I'd blame, you know, like Saul Alvarez and Erislandy Lara for making a shit fight for that too. Yeah. You know, Demetrius Andrade could have made a couple of really good fights, but they didn't come off because he was greedy.
He a bitch though. No disrespect. Okay, we'll have a little break from Floyd and Pac. I'm sure we'll come back to it when we get some callers on. But I want to talk about my boy Lomachenko. Lomachenko took a few rounds, you know, just to get into the fight, and then just totally outclassed the guy. But I was disappointed with all the bitching to the referee, man. Like, if you compare it to the Salido fight, the amount of times he got hit low and little sneaky moves, he didn't even complain once. And this fight, every time anything illegal or close to illegal happened, the guy was looking at the referee, man. I didn't like that shit, to be honest.
I mean, he pretty much demanded that a point be taken away, and eventually was, even though he was hitting low too.
Yeah, Chu, what did you think?
Yeah, but he was only hitting low because he started it.
He was hitting low, though. That's illegal, period. I mean, if you're going to take a point from one guy, you got to take a point from the other guy.
I was happy that he started hitting low because he's learned his lessons from that.
You're happy because he started hitting low because you're just a fanboy.
You're fucking right, Amar. Homosexual. You know it. I fucking love Lomachenko, man.
Lomachenko has no inside fighting ability. As soon as he fights another
doesn't
guy
need it.
that has
So
inside
Rich
fighting
coming from
ability,
the biggest
he gets
slow-mo
his-
around.
Yeah, he doesn't need it.
He does need it.
No, he
does
doesn't.
need it. When
His
he fights
movement-
somebody that can beat it, that can fight on the inside, he's gonna need it, and he's gonna lose because he doesn't have it.
Why do you hate this guy?
I don't hate him. I
He's
think that he's
fucking great.
overrated.
You hate
He
him.
lost.
You
He
do
lost
hate
to
him.
Orlando Salido, and Salido got dropped a bunch of times by turd sack.
Okay,
If
he barely
Lomachenko
lost
was this-
against Salido.
If Lomachenko was this great, amazing fighter, he would have outdid turd sack. Once again, turd sack.
I think you do hate him. You seem really angry.
If he fought Salido now, it would be oof. He would stop.
After Salido lost to Roman Martinez.
Well, that's Salido's fault for losing to Martinez.
Yeah, well, Lomachenko's not gonna fight anybody like that. He's fighting. This is the second bum in a row, and I mean, at least he knocked this one out of there. But this guy didn't belong in the ring with him. This guy got this fight by beating fucking Orlando Cruz.
Anyway, in regards to the fight, he was doing things I've never seen before. There was one point in the 7th round I was talking to Ari, I think it was, having a little text chat with Ari. He grabbed the guy's arm, span him round like it was like a arm drag kind of thing. And I was like, what the fuck was that? That was cool as fuck. And his combinations, like 6 punch combinations, fast as fuck, fluid, left, right, head, body, just constant circling. I was just getting dizzy watching him, but in a kind of good way. His opponent was actually, I thought in the first couple of rounds, I thought, oh, this guy's going to present him with a challenge, but then he just stepped it up. And talent-wise, he could be TBE. His amateur record shows that. I'd love to see him against Rigondeaux, because I think those are the only 2 guys that could beat each other.
I disagree. I think Frampton could beat Rigondeaux. And I think, you know what? I think Frampton could probably beat Lomachenko, too.
That's a great fight.
Not to mention Walters and Morris.
Yeah, I won't lie, I was thinking Frampton against Lomachenko. That'd be a fucking great fight, but I think Lomachenko would beat him though.
Yeah, I think Lomachenko would be a bit too big for Frampton, even though I'm a massive Frampton fan. I think if that happened at 126, I think Lomo would have.
I wouldn't necessarily say so, though. I mean, you would say like too big, but Lomachenko's not a guy that's really a big, size, strong guy. He's a finesse fighter.
Yeah, Lomachenko's footwork's awesome though. Oh.
Yeah.
But Frampton would be very small up at featherweight, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
He'd be tiny up there.
He's not a big super bantamweight, to be honest.
No, he's not. He could make bantamweight.
He's not big frame wise, but he's not fat or anything. 4 extra pounds isn't gonna turn him into a fucking Eric Morales at light welterweight or anything. I think he can handle it just fine.
I think he'll struggle up there. I think he'll struggle up at featherweight.
Frampton?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think.
Well, that's the thing. Quigg is probably bigger frame wise than Lomachenko, and I think Frampton's gonna spark that motherfucker out if they ever actually fight.
That
probably
never
not
happened,
because
so
Quigg
don't
is
worry
a
about
fucking
it.
ducking bitch. So Quigg was probably gonna fight Donaire, and then Donaire's gonna spark his bitch ass out.
Soulless Donaire might lose to Quigg.
No, man, you got a potty mouth, man. Like, I hope your mother never listens to the podcast, man. But Ari, you didn't really give your thoughts about that fight.
I don't really care for it. She should have got him. Should have got him out of there like a few rounds before, and he just started messing around. Like
I think he was just trying to get around him.
Throwing arm punches at times, just at his high guard. Yeah, he was messing around, like he was turning him around, like you said. But that thing looked illegal to me. What he was doing there, like holding his arms and spinning him around, and then throwing punches afterwards. Yeah, the ref was kind of shit. The fight itself was decent, I guess.
Ari, it was cool how he just gave him his arm. The guy grabbed it and then he span him. It was almost as if they both rehearsed it.
Nah, I love watching Lomachenko fight, man. His movement is amazing, man.
I like him, but his lack of power might hinder him a bit. it seems he ain't really got the power.
He has got the power to the body though. It's weird. Like every time he throws some body punches, they look powerful, man. Like he dropped the guy to the body a couple of times, and it's just that it doesn't look like his head punches have more power, a lot of power.
Yeah. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he's still pulling a bit from his amateur days. Maybe he's still pulling his punch a bit. I don't know. But...
Possibly.
No, I think
he does definitely appear to dig into the body shots more than the head shots. The head shots, he tends to. It looks like he's trying to be more defensive, where he's throwing them out there and then he's trying to get out the way, or he's gonna go in and clinch you immediately after to break up your rhythm.
Yep. Okay. Are we skipping the Leo Santa Cruz fight? Because I've got nothing to say about that fight.
Yes.
Can I shit on him?
He's a bum.
But to be honest, I thought his opponent did a really showed a lot of balls, man. That guy should have been out of there. And I mean, he went the full distance. I was impressed with that guy.
The mechanic.
Cayetano. No, actually, he was an insurance salesman. But
it says on the HBO broadcast he was a mechanic.
No, they said that he was an insurance salesman.
Yeah.
No, I heard he was a construction worker as well. They said.
I heard mechanic.
I heard construction.
Maybe he's an assassin, and they just said mechanic like Jason Statham.
Maybe he's all of those things.
Maybe he's all four.
He just does every job.
But Santa Cruz. Let me just quickly shit on Santa Cruz because, in my opinion, he's fast becoming the biggest joke in boxing. Where this guy, like, he's being constantly fed bums, and he's slowly turning into one. He's starting to turn into what he's eating. It's just, and he needs to turn it up now. He needs to fight decent opposition, or he's ready.
Yeah, I mean, the last good fighter he fought was probably Mijares, and I mean this is way past his best. Mijares.
Yeah. I don't know. Sorry, go on.
Fucking hell, I lost it. But I'd even pick Morris right now. Frampton.
I would, based on Saturday. Morris could do all the shit that Cayetano did.
I don't know about Quigg because it'll be an inside fight with Quigg, but I don't know, man. That chopping, Mexican slow wear down style. I'm not really a fan of it myself. And he was fighting a bum in there. The guy lost his last fight, and it was looking competitive, and it shouldn't be. It's supposed to be an easy showcase. He's supposed to take him out. He's gone 12 rounds with the kid, or 10 rounds, whatever it is. So, I can't stand Santa Cruz, and Al loves him, obviously. He named his bloody first son after the guy, so what does that tell you? Heyman's made him a millionaire. It's just ridiculous. I don't know how much he made, but it's just ridiculous. It's just, come on, man, fight someone credible. If you're going to go featherweight, all right, give up your stupid belt then. Give up the belt. My boy Galad could become world champion. Because he's up in the WBC rankings. I'm calling it now, Galad, if he keeps going like he's going, hopefully he signs with Hearn, he'll be WBC champion inside 2 years.
Yeah, I just thought that with Santa Cruz taking his fight at featherweight, I just thought he'd just be a bit stronger and a bit sharper. But like his punches didn't seem to have a lot of snap in him, and it just seemed a bit laboured.
I disagree with that, though. I mean, this guy whole body was getting knocked back into the fucking turnbuckle. You rarely ever see shit like that. I think this guy just had a really good chin. I mean, did you not see his entire body moving and the back of his head actually knocking into the corner?
I just think he was a bit too stationary, so that's why he was getting hit. Like, if he had better movement, I don't think he would have got hit like that.
Well, I mean, on the inside, I thought he was showing pretty good movement. But, I mean, regardless of that, he was getting shook by those shots. And I think most other fighters, if they were getting hit by the same shots, they would have gone down. I think it's more of a credit to his opponent than it's really a knock on Santa Cruz, even though Santa Cruz, I'd say, he has more grinding power at the higher weights than he did at, bantamweight when he first came up. He was a real thudding puncher, but against bigger opponents, that power doesn't go as far.
Well, I'm going to give myself props because I predicted in the predictions league that fight was going to go all 10 rounds, so I'll give myself a pat on the back.
You never know. Maybe Santa Cruz is putting money on the over on all these fights and then
making more money.
And he's carrying it. I wouldn't put it past him because I mean, it seems like, to be honest, like a lot of people blaming Heyman, but Mars pretty much showed on that Piolín show when he was there with Santa Cruz, saying that like any of these fights that they want, all they got to do is ask for it and it's done. I mean, Broner got his Maidana fight, Chavez Jr. got his Fonfara fight. You know, I think if these guys really want to be tested, they can get those fights as long as they're really after them. So I don't think it's necessarily any different.
Yeah,
I do.
You know, I mean, they're talking about Thurman Porter. I mean, Sean Porter wasn't trying to have that fight before. Now all of a sudden he wants it. You know why? It's because of his own risk reward. It has less to do with Heyman than it does with him.
Yeah, I think it's tactical. You always see Santa Cruz on a Floyd Mayweather card for some reason. He's getting a lot of profile, but yet he never fights a tough guy. I think the thing with Santa Cruz is he's guaranteed not to outshine the main event, which, you know, if you're a conspiracy theorist, maybe there's something in that. Maybe
no, I wouldn't say it's conspiracy.
Maybe
I'd say
Floyd doesn't want the undercard to kind of shine. You know,
I don't think so.
You've got Lucas Matisse, Danny Garcia. That is fucking the best thing that's happened in any recent Floyd fights.
Well, I mean, Santa Cruz scored a second-round knockout on one of Floyd's cards, so I mean,
against
that's not exactly not outshining.
Against Roman. That doesn't count, Naruto. Come on.
No, but he's talking about like shining. You know, if you score a big knockout, then you know, of course, you know that's not exactly. Not shining. People like to see knockouts regardless of who it is. I mean, casuals don't know the fucking difference, and those are the ones that are watching these pay-per-view cards.
Yeah, that's a fair point, but
I mean, Santa Cruz being put on these cards has to do with one thing in particular. It's because Floyd's fighting on Mexican holidays, so he wants somebody on the undercard who's a Mexican fighter.
Yeah.
So that's why Santa Cruz was on him. That's why Mares versus Ponce de Leon was on one of them. And I mean, I could think of a few other examples, but.
That undercard was shit though. Apart from Lomachenko, man, that just.
Well, did they show the full one over for you guys?
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah, or with Sky, they shown like Chris Pearson and like all those. They shown basically everything. And did you guys not get that in the States?
Yeah, no, we didn't.
That's
where Team Stream comes in.
You guys paid $100 and you didn't even get all the fights, man. That's terrible.
Yeah, well, to be honest, if they showed that Pearson fight, some people would have fell asleep.
Yeah,
so,
that's true.
That's a smart decision. You know, that fight was terrible. And Hart was wild, man. But, you know, I guess he was taking risks in there because he knew he wasn't up against much. But he didn't look as much, to be honest, with Hart. I've heard a couple of things about Hart, but he didn't impress me, you know. I didn't see no jab. The guy he was just throwing wide hooks, just trying to get a knockout. And he did get it, so I guess that's the plan. But I don't know who he's going to fight next. But I think he's headlining one of them True TV cards for Arum next. So hopefully he fights someone decent.
Okay, I want to give my boy Ray Beltran a bit of props because his fight and his capturing the WBO title kind of went under radar just because of the whole Mayweather Pacquiao weekend. So, you know, he really should have won the title against Ricky Burns. Obviously, he was kind of robbed in Glasgow. He lost convincingly to Terence Crawford. But to pick up the vacant title, I think he deserved it, man, because he is one of those just solid, gets on with it type of boxers. You know, like after the whole Burns thing, he didn't bitch or complain. In his interview straight afterwards in the locker room, he was like, he said, "Yo, that's part of the game. You know, I thought I won, but that's part of the game." He didn't moan or bitch. So for him to get a world title, man, props to him. And the way he did it against Aho, man, he just demolished him.
Well, he actually didn't get it though, just because he missed weight.
Oh, so he didn't get the title?
No, he missed weight twice. He was over by 1.5 pounds the first time, and then by like 3.
Oh, right, so I'm giving him props, and he didn't fucking win the title.
No, and this is after he said he got a nutritionist and stuff. He still missed weight.
Oh shit, man.
Donna Quillen.
Damn,
you know,
man.
these guys getting their high tech, whatever.
No props to Raymond Beltran then. Sorry, Raymond, taking that shit back.
Well, shit, I give him props for that knockout, though. I mean, in no round, man, he fucking went in there and blew out of the water.
Did you see he was hitting with like multiple fucking left hands, and Aho was trying to throw with him, and he just kept missing and getting caught with the fucking left hook.
Yeah, that actually kind of hyped me up for like Mayweather Pacquiao because the styles matched up a little bit similar, you know, orthodox and southpaw.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe that's why he did so against Aho, because obviously Pacquiao being his former sparring partner.
Yeah, most likely, yeah. But yeah, Aho definitely didn't have Pac's chin because he got wrecked.
Yeah, he got
that
fucked
right
up.
hand and then the left hook coming up right behind it. That shit worked perfectly. That's like the classic, orthodox combo versus a southpaw, and he landed it with, bad intentions and took him out of there easy.
Yep. Okay, let me get to the phone lines, get to my boy.
Jose is all about the sexy name.
I'm bringing sexy back.
Boys, can you guys hear me?
Loud and clear, Jose. How's it going?
Good, man. Good, man. Glad to be back home. I mean, I have a different perspective on the fight than maybe you guys do. You served me up some crow because I thought Pacquiao was going to knock him out and stop him, so I'll take the crow before I talk, I guess.
Your voice is sounding a bit worse for wear, Jose.
Oh, I was screaming the whole weekend, man. I went a little crazy this weekend, man. So, what was I going to say? You know what? Maybe it's not a bad thing. Like, I agree with what Chu said, and totally watching the fight. It's an absolute disappointment for boxing having been put on the threshold and at the peak of all sporting events. But you know what? Maybe it's a good thing, man. Maybe we should just reclaim the sport back to the freaks and just keep it as us, man, because I don't want to share the sport with casuals where, you got to spend $1,500, $2,500. Like, Abe went to the fight. You guys all know Abe, right? Like, he went to the fight.
Stuart Little Killer.
Yeah, Stuart Little Kill. It cost him $5,400 to get into the fight, man. Like,
fuck's sake.
You know what? Forget the casuals. They can go fuck themselves, man. Pardon my language, but it's frustrating. We go all the way there. We can't even get in because it's so hyped up. People are going. They don't even know why they're going. They're just going to Star Watch and everything else. So, you know what? The fight was maybe a commercial failure in terms of meeting up to its expectations, but ultimately, man, I'm really happy as a boxing fan because this puts clarity in my mind that Floyd is the best, man. And as long as I've been watching boxing, ever since I remember watching boxing with my dad when I was younger, man, in my opinion, Floyd is the best, man. He's the best ever. And he found a way to turn that fight into a one-sided match, and Manny looked like a bum. Like, I'm sorry, I love Manny, and this is why I don't score fights. And James was laughing at me because I scored it a draw, 6-6, because every close round, I felt myself compelled and forced to give it to Manny. And it was bullshit. I was embarrassed. That's not the score. Floyd won that fight, right? And Floyd found a way to just minimize Manny's skill, and ultimately it was a chess match, right? You're not going to go to a stadium and watch two guys play chess. It's going to be boring. Of course, there was no Rock'em Sock'em UFC knockouts. It was Floyd at the peak of the sport with the most skill in the world, and he showed how great he was. And you know what? It also kind of shows you how disappointing like ESPN and HBO are. Like, these are guys that ride the boxers' coattails up until the point where they're not buying into their game, and then they're basically just putting all this information out about Floyd being a woman beater and a wife beater. And you know what? There's a lot of people in the world that do a lot of shitty things. I don't really care, to be honest. Like, I don't beat my wife. I don't beat my kids, so I don't really give a shit what Floyd does. I don't watch him because he's a great man. And I don't think Pacquiao, just because he talks religion, is a great man. Like, I could give a shit about either of them personally. I watch it for entertainment, right? So, you know what? I'm glad Floyd did what he did, and I'm glad he won, and what's next? That's the question. I don't know, but maybe now this might even carry over to the UK. If you have a Khan versus Kelly fight, then maybe not the whole stadium's going to sell out, and it'll cost you £5,000 to get in, right? Maybe people will learn the lesson. I hope. Those are my thoughts. I don't know what you guys think about that.
Yeah, Jose, can I ask you a question, bro? How's it going, man? You okay?
Good, man. Good, bro. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. How you doing?
Good, man. Did Ricky Hatton drink you under the table, man?
Oh, Ricky Hatton. He was. You know what? We went into the Hooters Hotel, which isn't really like a glamorous hotel, right? So we went over there to meet up with the boys, and we're all swimming, and we see Ricky Hatton. I turn around, I'm like, that's Ricky Hatton. I didn't have my glasses on. And Ness is like, no, it isn't. And we look, and it was him. It was Ricky Hatton. And it was probably 2 p.m. like 2 p.m, and Ricky was already shit-faced, you know?
Yes.
Ricky representing Manchester.
Oh, he's awesome, man. So we went up to him, gave him a big hug, you know. He was a nice guy, but clearly he was out of it, you know. And I guess people saw him later on that night, and he was just a mess, right? But
do you think he was back on the nose candy?
Man, I hope not. But he was definitely drinking like a fish, right? So
it must be surreal for Ricky Hatton knowing that the biggest fight you're coming to see to Vegas is 2 guys that have knocked you out. It must be like a kind of like really bad for the ego that everybody who sees you in Vegas, and everybody's like, both these guys knocked you out.
What's worse for Vegas that the man who's stumbling around drunk brought the best atmosphere that Vegas has ever seen to there. You know, he those fights there were the best atmospheres. His fans were the best.
No, true that. And I've ran into a lot of boxers just going to.
And he's for the people.
Yeah, Ricky Hatton is boxing royalty, man. In my opinion, you know what I mean? He's like amazing. Like, you know, could you imagine going up to a guy at that level and just totally without having to cut through any bodyguards or anything, just give the guy a hug and talk to him for 30 seconds? Pretty cool, man.
If you try to hug Floyd, you'd probably get tasered, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, for sure. No, absolutely, 100%. And Ricky is a big star, man. You know, he's one of those big, sexy names, right? Like, I mean, you think boxing, you can't go without saying Ricky Hatton, right?
Absolutely, I think so.
Sorry, just be greedy. Jose, do you not think that fight hurt boxing?
Yeah, like I said, it did big time. But I'm okay with that, man. It didn't. I think if we love boxing, like all of us guys who call into these shows, you guys have your show. Like, it didn't really surprise you. It didn't really shock you. Like, if anything, maybe it gave you clarity of how good Floyd was. So I don't think it hurt us. It just hurt the casual fan that considered boxing to be like a basketball game or like a Super Bowl. And you know what? We don't need those guys.
No, we don't. You're so right, Jose. Fuck those guys. I've had them all week, and I don't need to speak to them again. They won't speak to me. They won't want to speak to me about boxing again in 2 weeks.
Well, it's these people that get hand fed everything. Like, they don't take any time to give a chance to a Lucas Matisse versus Ruslan Provodnikov, which is, you know, like these are real fight of the year type shit. And, you know, they don't pay any mind to it. You know, they need fucking Skip Brainless and Stephen A. Bitch to tell them, you know, what the good fights are. You know, every 10 fucking years.
Skip Brainless.
Exactly.
I disagree, because guys like Floyd Mayweather, best fighter of his generation, no one can give him a competitive fight.
Maidana did.
He lost, though.
He gave him a competitive fight, though. I mean, that first fight was the best fight Floyd had in years. I mean,
he did lose, though.
Yeah, he lost.
No, it's competitive.
But, I mean, it was a competitive fight, though. Yeah. It wasn't a guy looking at Floyd like, oh my God, I'm fighting Floyd Mayweather.
You know why, though?
Right,
No, you know why I think this? Because I think the guys like Maidana know their role, and they go and they fight him like a caveman, and they do well. But guys like Canelo and guys like Pacquiao, they almost feel as if they're at his level, and they shouldn't lose a boxing match to this guy. And it's beautiful, because Floyd was just as dominant with Manny as he was with Canelo, and you know, Manny was trying to outbox the boxer. It just doesn't happen. So there must be something Floyd does as soon as he gets in the ring. Like, I don't know how he sizes him up or whatever, but immediately he turns the fight into what he wants it to be.
Well,
you know?
I think it's a combination of two things. One, he's making guys miss like nobody's business. And so it's like they're reluctant to keep throwing punches that are just going to miss anyway. And two, he punishes them every time they advance on him with those sharp shots. And even though Floyd's not a lights-out puncher, I think he has enough sting on those shots that they think twice about throwing stuff that they feel is going to miss, and they're going to pay for it every time. The only guy that really didn't do that, aside from Maidana, was Ricky Hatton, and he wound up actually getting knocked out. He just threw caution to the wind and threw himself at Floyd, and he had a little more success than most guys do, but he also paid for it by getting knocked out because he didn't heed that.
Yeah. Don't you wish Pacquiao got knocked out, though? I'd rather he got knocked out.
Yeah. That's why I respect Ricky, because Ricky...
all I wanted. It's just like, there was no sense. My wife got up and watched it. I made her get up and watch it, and she was just like, it's like watching Strictly Come Dancing. Like, where is the drama? There's no drama. There was no narrative. It was just, it bored the sock. You know, she was only interested because I was interested.
Yeah.
If you just like, I don't understand what you're doing. If this is the best of the best, you should just fucking stop watching.
Yeah, there was no like something for ESPN Sports Centre to show back or Sky Sports News.
It was just because sport's more than just a sport, isn't it? It's the kind of drama and the narrative of an event, and that unfortunately didn't have it. But I mean, that's mainly on Pacquiao, not just Floyd. It's not Floyd's fault.
I think it's mainly on both guys.
Floyd could have done it a bit later in the fight, but it was just disappointing. But I kind of we all knew it was going to be disappointing, I think. We all knew Floyd was going to win, I think, really, deep down.
Yeah, usually the best fights are the guys that are at like the C or B level. Like look at Ward and Gotti, and even if you look at who was the Israel Vasquez against Marquez's brother? You know what I mean? Like, these weren't top pound for pound guys, but they were still good boxers, good fighters.
Israel Vasquez versus Rafael Marquez, they both were top pound for pound guys when they fought each other. Yeah, but then they beat the shit out of each other so bad that they weren't anymore after that.
What does the pound for pound list really mean? Now, who gives a shit about the pound? I really don't give a shit about the pound for pound list, because if it came down to it, it just doesn't mean anything, does it?
Pound for pound is too subjective.
Well, the thing about pound for pound is it's really an accomplishment list, but the thing is, it doesn't matter how good you are pound for pound. If like you're in your third weight class and you're fighting a guy that's 10 pounds bigger than you and he's coming to knock your fucking head off, he doesn't give two shits about pound for pound.
Yes, Nicky, I agree with you. I agree with you, Nicky. That's the best thing you've said all night, mate.
No, but you know what else though? Like boxing isn't like football. It's not like baseball. Like boxing's the kind of sport that you could literally win by throwing 7 punches, because all you got to do is throw one more punch per round and connect than the other guy, or do something.
Like Andy Lee.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean? Like ultimately, like you don't need to put on this super entertaining show to win. It's like a judging contest, right? So I mean, ultimately, like, there's going to be times when two fighters like this size up, and I mean, we should watch it and maybe shrug our shoulders and be like, shit, that was boring, but then kind of force ourselves to appreciate that, it was maybe a battle of skill and not necessarily, battle of violence, right?
I think
it's one of those things where usually it's like you have to match up two guys with similar skill level, and that's when you get the battle of will. That's when you get the Martinez versus Williams, because they matched up skill-wise so perfectly that they basically both regressed and they're trying to out-fight each other. The reason why Maidana gave Floyd such a good fight is because Maidana didn't give a fuck. He didn't give a shit about anything. He wasn't bothered by Floyd's antics. He thought it was funny. And then that glove thing at the last minute pissed him off, and he went out there trying to knock his head off.
So what's Floyd's last fight?
I think.
I said it earlier. I think it's either going to be, if Thurman Porter comes off, I think the winner's probably going to be demanded by the fans to fight him.
Yeah, Nicky, isn't Thurman injured at the moment?
Is he?
I thought he had injury after that last fight. Maybe I'm wrong.
He had an injury after the last fight, but I'm sure by now he would have recovered from it. Because
I thought he was back like later in the year.
No,
I thought they were talking about him.
I've seen an interview. Said he's come back around July.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, that's what I had heard too. Him versus Porter in July is what they were talking about. But if that doesn't happen, I think probably Khan is probably the most likely.
Khan beats him.
Well, the thing is, I think one thing that you could say for Khan is he would do like Hatton and go out on his shield even if he was being outskilled. He's gonna throw and throw and throw, and he's basically gonna force Mayweather to knock him out to beat him. I think.
Khan's got a bigger ego than Canelo and Pacquiao put together. Khan's going to think he can outbox him again, and I think he's going to fall into the same trap as everybody else. I mean, Floyd shows us every time this is what he does with people who are good and great boxers. He gets them to fight his fight, always.
I wouldn't say Khan is a great boxer. I'd say he's
but
really
Khan's
good
Khan's got the speed. He's got he can, he was an Olympian too, right? So I think Khan thinks that he could probably beat Floyd that way as well.
Possibly. Yeah, you might be right. He might fall into that trap too. I can see that.
That's the thing. That's what I'm trying to say to you guys. The only two guys that could beat Floyd at the minute is Kelbrook and Amir Khan, and the reason why is because the sport isn't as big as what it was back in the day. The talent pool isn't there, so guys like Floyd and Manny are on a whole nother level. Except the sport is actually growing in the UK, so now you've got elite level guys coming through in the UK where a generation ago they weren't.
Well, it's one of those things that
things go in waves, you know. I mean, who would have thought that the UK would have had Prince Nassim lighting up featherweight? You know, sometimes guys come in the weight class that you don't expect them to come in, or they come in a weight class where they're not going to necessarily get the torch passed to them by the top guy, you know.
See, I don't think Brook throws enough, man. I think
if Golovkin was a welterweight, we'd all be fucking clamoring for him to fight against Mayweather, but he's not. He's a middleweight.
No, I don't think it comes in waves either. Like, it's in the UK, it's just a steady progression. The UK is getting better and better and better. Same with Eastern Europe, whereas America, of course, with the exception of Floyd, the exception of Andre Ward, you know, there is fucking
Crawford.
outliers. Yeah, I'll say that as well. But not as many as what there was. Like the pound for pound list, America used to be 1 to 10. America.
Yeah, it's Hagler, McClellan, Julian Jackson.
It's like
Julian Jackson was Virgin Islands, but yeah.
Now you'll get 5 out of the top 10. But that's the thing. Like, if a guy like Manny Pacquiao can be as successful as what he was, and he's from Asia, then this is the new normal. And then guys like Golovkin are going to be pound for pound attractions. So all this shit that boxing's dead, like I'm seeing all over the internet now, nah, man, it's just going to take a little rest, and you're going to see like a guy like Golovkin take it up. And that'll be better because he's a knockout guy. He fights in his natural weight class. Floyd should have stayed at lightweight where he can knock guys out, look sensational. And I hope Lomachenko stays at featherweight. Don't go up. Don't dilute your power even less or even more. Just stay in your natural weight class, knock guys out, get hype around you.
He might still eventually, just because, I mean, he fought as a lightweight in the amateurs too, so. And
hey, can I ask you guys
on Fight Night yesterday? So
can I ask you guys a question? Do you guys still see? Like, I know Leon had said that he doesn't really follow the pound for pound thing, but would you guys say this loss to Mayweather has pushed Manny out of the pound for pound, or would you still say he's top 3, top 4 in the world?
Top 10, not top 5 though.
So he dropped out significantly for you then, right?
For me, yeah.
But he wasn't the second best fighter in the world anyway, was he?
I didn't
really
consider him. I don't think so. Gonzalez at number 2.
Okay.
What about the rest of you guys? You guys all thought he's dropped out of the pound for pound after this loss?
I don't really pay attention to pound for pound,
No.
Jose. To me, it's just too subjective.
Really, the thing about pound for pound is you can make an argument for a lot of different guys in any number of spots, just because of the fact that, you know, they're fighting across so many different weight divisions. You could say, well, so and so lost to this guy at their weight class, but was this guy comparable to this guy? And, you know, there's so many weight classes apart, you can't really compare them directly.
I guess what I meant to say was, like, I guess my parting, like, you know, thing is going to be that, like, I think, like, yeah, pound for pound, top guy in the world, but also top guy in the division. And I just think Floyd dismantled him, right? So really it does show, like, the difference between Floyd and everybody else. Like, he has head and shoulders above
even just
everybody
at
else.
welterweight, I'd put Brook above Pacquiao right now, just at welterweight, because, you know, he hasn't been.
Okay, boys, anyway, I'm going to bounce out of here. One last thing before I go, just so you guys know, man, even the American fans, there was a bunch of European guys there too. Everybody had nothing but good words to talk about you guys as well, man. So I mean, it would be exciting to all of us be able to link up. You know, if anything, it was cool to be with a whole bunch of like-minded boxing fans. So let's hope a big fight happens in UK and we can get everybody over there, man, and have a great time.
Yeah, man. Calm Brook at Wembley.
Let's do it.
All right, thank you,
All right,
Jose.
boys. Peace, man. Take
Peace,
it easy,
Jose.
guys.
Thank you.
Peace.
All right, let's get to Joe. Are you there, Joe?
Hi, Buzz.
How's it going, Joe?
Hey, it's Jose, Cam, remember?
Jose Morgan.
Fucking hell.
What do you want to talk about?
Oh, yeah, man. Well, I guess, yeah, we've gone over Mayweather Pacquiao quite a lot. I'll just say my 2 cents. But, yeah, man, like, I'm not like a big Pacquiao fan or a big Floyd fan. I just sort of enjoyed the fight for what it was. And for me, like, I don't care what version of Pacquiao gets in that ring. If it's 5 years ago, if it's fucking 3 years ago, he's never beaten Floyd. No chance. And I don't like this injury. I mean, fair enough. If you have an injury, you have an injury. But you go and you take the fight for the money. You weigh up the opportunity cost of taking the money or fighting with an injury and possibly looking shit. And you obviously made the decision to take the money, so you can't really fucking give it afterwards. But no, man. I mean, big respect to Pacquiao, man. He's had a Hall of Fame career. I'd like to see him retire now, but I can see Bob feeding him to Crawford. But Floyd for me. I've only been watching the sport like 5 years. You can't really say he's the best ever. I mean, he's the best I've ever seen. But I don't know. I wasn't around for Leonard, Robinson, Joe Louis, all these guys. So, and it's like you say, Cam. It's just way too subjective to create an all-time top 10. I mean, everyone's got like their own version. Nothing can be completely sort of stratified and say he is the best. But he's one of the greats. You got to rank him sort of at least top 10 ever, at least.
Totally agree, Joe. Anything else?
I've got a little question to say. Do you think boxing is going to be better off when Floyd retires?
Yes. Ari, what do you think?
Y'all some haters.
I'm not hating. I'm not hating on Floyd. I'm just saying, like, there's always going to be super fights in boxing. I don't care how, like, in what health the sport is. There's always going to be a fight that people have to see. And when that fight doesn't involve Floyd Mayweather and involves a boxer that actually can fucking bang a bit and wants to go to war, then it's going to only benefit the sport.
I think so. Yeah. When you have Golovkin versus Ward on pay-per-view, or Kovalev versus Beterbiev on pay-per-view, that's going to be some light your shit up shit, man.
That's the problem with Floyd. He's never. If you could name your top 100 fights of all time, would you have a Floyd fight in there? I don't think I would.
Well, he wouldn't be in the top 1,000, mate, if we're being honest.
Yeah, exactly.
If we're being serious, like, I can see, like, maybe, like, Felix Verdejo versus, I don't know, maybe, like, Crawford. I don't know, Crawford's a bit big for him.
Yeah.
Something like that. Can you imagine when Felix Verdejo's tapping into that Puerto Rican market and he's in a massive fight, and he's like, this is like maybe 5-6 years down the line, and he's like a multiple world champ. When he's going to be in a fight, it's going to be a fucking war, and it's going to fucking, and the sport is just going to grow because of that.
Well, yeah, people compare him to Felix Trinidad, and he has that same type of style. He's trying to knock your lights out. He's trying to finish you right there.
He looks fucking devastating, mate.
It's funny you said that, Joe, because I was watching Fernando Vargas against Tito Trinidad the day before the Mayweather fight, and I was just thinking, wouldn't it be great if fucking Manny and Floyd just, like, made an agreement with each other, okay, we're going to go out like this. Because I think Vargas could have boxed the ears off Trinidad if he wanted to. But he decided to fucking stand his ground and go to war with him.
He kind of was, but then Trinidad started hitting him low, and that didn't exactly help him.
But yeah, there's another kid coming through called Jose Ramirez as well. I think he's a couple weight divisions above Verdejo at the moment, but that's
he's
like
at 140.
Yeah, that's like the Mexican Puerto Rican rivalry, and for sure there's going to be another Mexican fighter coming through.
Well, and then there's Oscar Valdez on Top Rank. He's a killer, man. That guy, he's at 130. He's trying to knock your head off with every shot too. He's like 14-0 with 12 knockouts or something like that.
Yeah, man. And when these guys are like the guy, and they're in the big fights, no one's going to fucking complain that this was a shit fight. It's gonna benefit boxing tremendously. Like, I wouldn't say this fight has killed the sport, like, or even seriously damaged it. I think any publicity is good publicity. I mean, you saw the level that boxing can reach when you've got two genuine superstars fighting each other.
But what if we get Inoue versus Chocolatito or something like that? That could be a great fight as well, couldn't it?
Yeah, but that'll never. The thing is with Mayweather and with Pacquiao. With Pacquiao, you've got like the raw, athletic boxing ability, and then you've got the mouth of Mayweather coupled with his sort of achievements. And I don't think guys like Inoue and Gonzalez are ever going to have either of that. Like maybe they've got the raw boxing ability, but there's no crossover appeal there.
Well,
yeah, but I don't give a fuck about
those
crossover.
What he's talking about though is crossover appeal in terms of the fact that, like, you have to build a star. The way you build a star is you have to have like several fights up before the big
or you
shows.
can tap into their heritage like they're doing with Verdejo and the Puerto Ricans. Like, he's got it made, really.
Yeah, exactly, because Gonzalez, Nicaraguans aren't really necessarily a constant boxing force. Last time there was like Mayorga and Alexis Arguello, that's like some once in a generation type shit. And then Japan hasn't necessarily been tapped too much by the U.S. market. So if Inoue were to be, really tapped into, he'd be the first amongst, some of the great.
But he's got the
Japanese
potential though, hasn't he, Nicky? He's got,
I'd say so, because he's young enough.
Killer,
he's
man.
20. He's not even 22. He's a 2-weight world champion across 3 weight classes. He could definitely spark some major fan interest if they promote him right.
Yeah, and with the Eastern Europeans, I think it was Chu saying they're like riding the crest of a wave now. I don't know about I'm not a massive boxing historian, but I'm pretty sure maybe they've always had tremendous amateurs that have never really had the opportunity to go pro, like they're getting now in America. So in the last maybe 5-6 years, there's obviously been a softening of the stance to Eastern European fighters. They're bringing them through, seeing how hard they can hit, and they're going to be fucking massive superstars in the program.
The thing I find really interesting about that though too is the fact that it seems like the cream of the crop of fighters from that part of the world are primarily guys that are huge punchers, and I'm guessing it's just because of the style that they all tend to use, which is very similar to one another. So when they're fighting each other in the ring, it's just going to come down to the bigger, stronger guy is winning the fights when it's those guys.
I think it's just a matter of time, really. We've got Golovkin and Kovalev. I think essentially, what Golovkin's doing is what Nas did to the featherweight division, where he's sort of blazing a path for others to follow. No, I think Golovkin's gonna be the first of a lot of fucking Eastern Europeans coming over. Usyk, Usyk cruiserweight at the moment, but he looks an absolute beast, and I'd love to see him sort of get involved in the American market.
That's Niota's boy.
Yeah, no, that Ukrainian 2012 team was unbelievable. I think Kaitrov's turned pro as well, and there's another one I can't remember the name.
Boy.
Yeah, man, there's gonna be loads of them coming over. There's so many good Kazakh amateurs and Eastern European amateurs that are just waiting to be picked up by guys like Lou DiBella and Main Events that can bring them over and fucking put them on American TV.
Yeah, hopefully they don't sign with Cafe Duva though. you don't want
maybe then at least Kovalev will have some opponents.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Klitschko didn't put Usyk on his undercard or something for when he came over.
Because he's not promoted by K2. So
I thought he's K2.
Oh, he's not. Oh, he is.
I think he is.
I think he is.
You're either with K2 or Sauerland, isn't it? I think he's with K2.
Yeah, he's with K2.
Okay.
The thing that will hurt that Usyk is cruiserweight. Either drop pounds or gain them. Get out of that division though.
He'll move up to heavyweight, I think.
Well, or he could be the star at cruiserweight. Cruiserweight really is a weight division that could have a star if anybody would actually just stay there, but they never do. James Toney did it, but he could have really brought a lot of attention to that division for a long time had he kept his weight in check.
I think it's like a brand thing. I think people just associate cruiserweight as a halfway house kind of place that all the cruiserweights are desperate to move up to heavyweight eventually. Just change the name of it.
It's got a European thing as well, isn't it?
Super light heavyweight.
I think it's because they haven't got an American to lead it. It's just Kev's boy Shawnee and that BJ Floors, I think his name is. They're both fucking pretty wank. Sorry, Kev.
Monahan is at light heavyweight.
All right, yeah. Well, there's no decent fucking American cruiserweights to get the Americans involved. When was the last time you saw a cruiserweight fight on primetime HBO or Showtime?
Yeah, Tony. And then, O'Neal Bell versus Jean-Marc Mormec was on HBO, I think, or Showtime. One of the two.
All right, guys, I'm going to jump in because we've got loads of callers. Joe, you got anything else?
No, man. Just it's a pretty decent card this Saturday. Just with the British guys. Obviously the Birmingham card is fucking shite, but when you put on the Kameda fight and the Burns fight, it's actually fucking quite a decent Saturday night's boxing for free TV. So looking forward to that. And I missed my first 2 picks in the prediction league, but I still got pretty good points. So not bad, mate. But looking forward to the fights. And there's a really good few fights coming up in May as well. You got the Durrell De Gale, you got Khan versus Algieri, and Canelo Kirkland as well. So really looking forward.
Excellent, Joe. Thanks for jumping on.
Says boys, it's Jose, remember?
Yeah,
Jose.
All right, Joe, take it easy. All right, I'm trying to get Rylo one, but he's not answering, so I'll go to Antonio while I'm trying to get Rylo one. Antonio probably won't answer now. He probably gone shopping like last time. Who else am I got waiting? Antonio. What's happening, Antonio?
Hey, what's up, man? Not much.
Sorry for keeping you in waiting, man. What do you want to talk about?
Oh, no, you good. No, first off, I just want to say, though, I think this is fucking up relationships, man. Did you guys hear that phone call yesterday?
Nah, what happened?
I heard it, mate.
I think some female broke up with her man, because he was listening to the boxing voice. That's crazy.
What did she say?
Yo, I think he was trying to like get in the queue, and she was like, "This relationship is over. You're always on the boxing voice."
Wow.
Yo, I hope we never do that. I hope we never break no relation. Having said that, I'm a bit worried about Leon and his missus.
So, somebody needs to hook her up with ringside Robbie.
No, but I want to talk about.
I like it.
I know you guys already talked about. I know it's been plenty of talks about Floyd and Pacquiao, but I actually took a second look at the fight Sunday night after the boxing voice, and to be honest with you, I feel like Pacquiao started off the fight trying to be aggressive, thinking he was gonna get into Floyd, maybe get him inside and start with the combinations, but he kind of find out that Mayweather was trying to stay on the outside. And he really wasn't trying to get into any type of engagement or whatever. But I just feel like that was his game plan from round one. He was trying to get Floyd to, get into a fight, but Floyd just wasn't that stupid. Compared to, Pacquiao's previous opponents, they just kept forward, man. They just kept coming forward, and that was Pacquiao all day, and just Floyd he just fought smart. That's the way you gotta fight Pacquiao. You gotta stay on the outside and just try not to get into a fight. I just feel like Mayweather kind of knew that. He kind of felt his power. I think it was in the third or fourth round where Pacquiao landed that left hand, and it was almost like the Maidana punch where Mayweather just fell back, and after that Floyd just stayed on the outside. Overall, man, I mean, Floyd was he was sharp, he was smart. And basically that's it, man. I mean, Pacquiao didn't have no type of answer. And, Pacquiao was so much smaller. I just feel like Floyd was also bigger. I mean, I hate the fact that they don't show Floyd's weight after the weigh-in when he comes to fight on fight night. Not sure how many pounds he actually gained after the weigh-in. But he just looked so much bigger than Pacquiao. And that's it, man. I just hate the fact that people, are not giving this guy any type of credit. It happens all the time. Every time he fights, puts on a performance, and they always try to put his win down, and I just hate that shit, And
What the fuck happened there? Did someone murder Antonio while he was on the fucking phone?
I think he had a stroke.
Oh shit, man! I hope Antonio's okay. If you know Antonio, send some paramedics to his house. Shit, man. Antonio, you back? You came back for a minute. Maybe you had a second wind.
That was clear.
Yeah, that was crazy, man.
Come back.
While we're waiting for Antonio to come back.
Maybe his chick broke up with him.
Maybe, yeah. While we're waiting for Antonio to come back, I had a question for you guys. Manny, he just seemed too happy-go-lucky, man. Like, they were constantly touching gloves at the beginning of the rounds. They were just fucking touching gloves anytime the ref broke him for something illegal. And it's like, there was no, like, I don't want to call it like the fucking aggressiveness, because that term's been overused with Manny and stuff, but there was no aggressiveness, man. Like, he didn't.
Well, the bad intentions, like,
yeah,
Duran would have fucking spit at Floyd if he tried to touch gloves with him.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Manny just didn't have the anger in him. He was just too happy-go-lucky.
Shout out to Carlos Molina and Mercedo Hesta. They had a great fight last week. Mercedo Hesta came out in the first round looking to touch gloves with Molina. Molina hit him with a fucking left hook instead of touching gloves with him. Yeah. That's what the type of shit that Manny needed to be doing.
That's true. Like, the 1-7 in the chat said that's what 120 million does to you. Yeah, I kind of agree, but yeah.
I think Manny's 1 foot out the game.
Yeah.
So fine, just retire. I'm tired of both of them. Tired of talking about both of them. This could
Well,
be glorious.
I think Floyd will soon, but Manny, I mean, I think Aram's gonna milk him for as long as he's willing to at least put on gloves. And I'm not sure if his fall is gonna be the prettiest there. I could see him getting milked for a couple years. Because he doesn't really seem to have a will of his own as much as, he pretty much does what he's told.
What I will say though is like to go from 1,000 punches through per fight to like that's like a drastic cut-off point. I think there's no doubt now that he was taking something back in the day.
Well, I mean, he did have the back knee.
True. Yeah, I seen that. I seen the pictures. Didn't Floyd as well?
I didn't see any on Floyd, but
I've got back acne, man. It doesn't mean I'm juicing.
I mean, apparently it meant Marquez was.
I never said Marquez.
Oh, come on, he was just no.
All right, anyway. Let me get back to the phones because we got Rilo on the line. Are you there, Rilo?
Yeah, what's up, boys?
What's happening, Rilo? How's it going?
How is everybody, man? I know everybody probably some of your guys had a busy weekend out in Vegas, huh?
A few guys went to Vegas. Everyone's good, man. How are you? And what do you want to talk about?
Oh man, now that we finally got the unicorn fight out of the way, for the next, I'm gonna say 2, 3, 4 years, we gotta hear all the Floyd Mayweather fans explain to us why we have to bow down and exonerate this guy as being the best fighter of all time.
Well, I mean, I think that'll kind of die down once he retires. Usually once somebody retires, like they pretty much close the book and they don't really talk about that as much. I'd say.
I hope so, man. Oddly enough, man, the one thing about this fight was it wasn't very exciting. I didn't expect it to be exciting, but I didn't expect this to be. I mean, Floyd has had some bad fights, and I didn't expect it to be. Like the Marquez fight was bad, and what other fight was pretty bad? The Maidana 2 fight was bad, but I think this fight was worse than those two, and I just didn't expect that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't expect it to be as good as Cotto, but I didn't expect it to be as bad as Marquez. And it fell kind of, below Marquez, man. And that type of performance, I don't think that places you any higher. It's like some people were saying that, well, Floyd did what he always do, so we got to blame Manny Pacquiao for making the fight a stinker. So that's like you having a party, and there's one dude come to your house that you know is a thief. So when you find out your watch is missing, you ain't going to ask everybody but him. You know what I'm saying? Like if the fight is a stinker, you got to blame the dude who's usually known for making fights stink.
True.
So he made the fight stink, man, and, he won. Kudos to him, man. Hopefully us as boxing fans, man, we can get back to boxing, man, and get over this era of Mayweather and Pacquiao, man. I am just so happy that this shit is over.
No, I totally agree, Rilo. Totally agree.
So, Rilo, can I just ask you, who do you think's gonna be the next superstar in boxing? Who's your favourite fighters?
The guy that I'm looking at now, man, I like Terrence Crawford, but I think that HBO is kind of building up Triple G. I think Triple G gonna be the next hot thing for a minute, and I think the next big fight will be Triple G versus Canelo. I think that'll be the next big fight. Of course, it won't be anywhere near, we won't have a so-called super fight for about another 15 years. They sucked all the life out of boxing, I think, with that fight. Yeah. They sucked all the emotion out of boxing with that fight. So I think that us as boxing fans and the general public has to take a break from it to get ready to come back around to it in about 15 years.
Well, and the thing is, it's too much attention paid on only 2 guys when you have like several dozens of fighters across weight divisions that you could be, given some shine that really deserve it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. And I think that boxing has over-exhausted. Like, when you exhaust something and then you still try and pull and squeeze and tug out a little bit more juice out of one fight, and then
push
for
more
that
toothpaste out the tube.
Yeah, and then you gonna have to cut the top off and then peel it open and shit. That's just way too much. That's just way too much. And I think that's what they did with this fight. And then for this fight to turn out the way it did, it wasn't good for boxing as a whole. That's how I feel. But a lot of Floyd Mayweather fans feel like it was a good fight. That's what they wanted to see, and all right. But I believe that it's more boxing fans than it is Floyd Mayweather fans, and us boxing fans, we I feel a little unsatisfied. That's all. How y'all guys feel, man? I mean, I haven't been able to listen to y'all. What y'all think?
I agree with everything you say, but I think it's really important that the next big guy in boxing, whoever it is, wherever he comes from, can punch a bit. I'm tired of that Floyd Mayweather style, and I think it's great to watch from a kind of hit and not get hit point of view, and like all the kind of purist shit that goes with it. But let's be honest, the thing that gets everybody excited is knockouts and knockdowns, and
here's
one
the
punch
thing,
can change it.
I'd say guys with that style, by in large part, can't fight any other way, and once they come up with an opponent who can solve that style, they're screwed. Arslan Lara was damn near screwed against Angulo, and there's a few pressure fighters that are better than Angulo, so he's not necessarily going to reach the heights, I don't think, that Mayweather did. But I mean, like as for me with this, I mean, a lot of people, they try to call me a Flomo and all that shit. Like, I'm like the resident, like, Floyd Mayweather fanboy. I'm a fan of Floyd, but I'm a fan of boxing before I'm a fan of Floyd. That's why I rooted against him when he fought Maidana and a couple other fighters, when he fought Mosley. But, I was happy with his performance. I know he's going to do what he's going to do. And, he's going to retire soon. And, hopefully some of these other fighters get some shine. And hopefully the press outlets and everything start actually paying attention to some of these other fighters in some of these other weight classes. You got a lot of potential stars out there, and I think they really deserve it. They really deserve the big money, the big stardom. We deserve to have Deontay Wilder and Terrence Crawford and Triple G and Chocolatito and whoever else be a big star, and for people to be like, oh, that guy's fighting, he's always fun to watch, I'm gonna check it out.
I agree. I think the bad thing that happened yesterday was, I mean, not yesterday, on Saturday was, it's almost like going into a titty bar. You ain't been to a titty bar in a long time, topless bar. And then when you go in there, it's like all these old chicks. And you're like, what the hell? And that's kind of like a casual fan. So if you a dude who don't really watch boxing, so you're like, oh man, all this hype about this fight, I'm finna go watch this one because this gotta at least be a halfway decent fight, right? So if you go watch that fight, what's going to make you try and go watch two guys that you never heard of next week?
Yep, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
What's going to make you watch Andre Ward on BET? Huh? Yeah. How is somebody going to think to watch Andre Ward on BET after these?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. When people think of boxing, they think of like just the most primal aspect of it, which is, two guys in combat. When somebody goes to watch a rocket launch, God damn it!
What's going on, though? Why is that alarm going on off in your house? You got some like radiation poisoning or something?
Yeah, man. When somebody goes to watch a rocket launch, they don't go to see all the calculations that somebody's doing to make the shit work and not fucking blow up. They go to watch a big fucking fire and a sonic boom.
I thought you were going to blow up there. The counter had begun.
Shit.
Listen, man, I feel you, and I understand what you're saying. But I just feel like from what I said a little bit ago, I didn't expect Hagler Hearns, not in the least bit. But
no, I wasn't saying that you did. I'm talking about the guy, the fan.
In general public, I don't think people were expecting the Hagler Hearns. But if you felt like Marquez versus Mayweather was kind of boring, you didn't expect it to be worse than that or less exciting than that. And I think that it almost was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't more, it was really, really close. And I kind of expected it to be somewhere in between Maidana 2 and Victor Ortiz, maybe. You know what I'm saying? But, I mean, if you're the best fighter around, and if that's what people are saying, it seemed like they both left a lot in the ring. You know what I'm saying? This is the biggest fight of your career. This is your apex. This is your Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? It was just a little bit less than I thought it would be. That's all.
Definitely.
I feel like if you're the best fighter in the world and you're that much better than somebody, smoke him and get him the fuck out of there.
Yep.
If you could hit him at will, you should feel like you have the power to put anybody on the ground. Like, I don't know.
Well, that's like the Vladimir Klitschko thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah, especially when Vlad goes extra safe and he holds instead of hitting and he steps back. It's like you're the biggest, strongest motherfucker in the game of boxing. What the hell? And sometimes he does it, sometimes he doesn't. But this is the first fight where Floyd looked huge next to his opponent since the Marquez fight, and he didn't. You know.
And see, this is the thing too.
Granted, he won all but maybe 5 minutes of that fight. You know what I mean? If that. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. But
see, saying that he won is almost an overstate. I understand what you're saying, but it was more like he wasn't losing. He made it a stalemate. Yeah. He made it even until he did just enough to win. See,
it's funny. I said the same thing, and I got killed for it. I was like, he fights like Bernard Hopkins. He doesn't actually win. He just makes you do nothing.
Yeah, but see,
he makes you do less, and then he beats you. But any other fighter who's a welterweight who only threw 34, 35 punches around is going to take a loss. And he dominated a fight. And it's because he was able to prevent you from doing anything. And people compare him to Pernell Whitaker, but Pernell Whitaker threw a lot more punches, at least in my memory. Maybe it's just I was so young, but the whole time he's walking back, he's jabbing until he stops, and then he sits on his back foot, shoots a straight right or a straight left or a left uppercut, roll out, and repeat. And I just feel like Floyd's just so good because his hands are so quick. And I texted one of the TMT guys, and I think Ari right away. The first fucking round, he clipped Pacquiao with a right hand, and Pacquiao was not ready for that type of speed and explosiveness because that hit him. He shuffled his feet. It moved him. And it was like a rude awakening. Like, oh, fuck, this guy is that much faster than me. And where did that come from? And, and that's why he didn't open up until, the end of the third round.
Well, and it's timing. I think normally Pac's at least used to getting timed off of his own punches. That time he got timed off of his own feints.
Yeah, exactly. And because he came in and there's whack. It was like a slap almost. That's how quick he came. Like when you're talking to your girl, you don't expect it. Next thing you know, you're eating fucking 5 across the face. Like, damn, I thought it was all good. Not no more. And I said right there, I tweeted right after the first round. I was like, wow, this might end up being really easy for Floyd, and that's not good for the fight. Because if it's a Floyd Mayweather fight, it's a boring fight.
Now let me ask y'all this. I'm going to go around this real quick question before y'all probably got to get some more calls. Do you think that it would take a fighter to make a fight more boring than he is willing to make it in order to beat him? I know,
but not for nothing. That's a great question.
Maybe if somebody goes in there and Willie peps him, possibly.
Yeah, because most people say you got to be the one that be aggressive and you got to put it on Floyd and you got to make him fight extra. But what if you step back and make him be aggressive?
It seems like Maidana kind of tried that in the second fight.
In the second fight, right? At least the first half.
He was trying to knock his lights out. Of course, he almost did, but still.
Yeah, but think about it though, and you were the one who pointed it out, Neil, in the second fight when he was backing up. He was actually doing that pull counter right hand and shit. Yeah. And that's Marcus Maidana. I think Floyd was in a weird position when he was actually chasing Maidana a little bit.
Yeah, he's like, what the fuck is this guy doing? He's doing me.
Yeah. See, that's why I think Keith Thurman will have a good chance because Keith Thurman, which is my favorite fighter, but he put up a stinker of a fight against what's the European guy name?
Bundu.
Leonard Bundu, yes. He put up a stinker of a fight against Leonard Bundu, and he wasn't fazed by trying to make it exciting. So I think that he might be willing to engage in that particular style of fighting and be willing to try and win a round with only landing 1 or 2 punches. And I think that's how other guys get caught because they like, all right, I only landed one punch. I gotta get him. I gotta get him. I gotta get him. Damn, he got me. Okay, I gotta get him. Damn, he got me. I gotta get him. And before you know it, you've been trying to get him for 3 minutes, and he got you 3 times. And you got him once. So now he won a round. So I think it's going to take a guy who's willing to be as, trying to make the fight even less exciting than he will even try and make the fight. And I think that'll be the guy who will beat him.
Yeah, maybe so.
But it could be, I could be wrong, But all right, boys, I know y'all got to get to some more folks, man.
Yo, Rhino, man, that was a great fucking call, man. Great call, brother. Thank you.
Big time.
Yeah, good call,
y'all, man. Hopefully I can get on next week, man.
Defo, brother. Thank you.
All right, fellas.
Take care.
All right.
Yo, Kev, anything else you want to talk about? Obviously, because you jumped on a bit late.
I was just shocked at the popularity of this fight, to be honest. I'm really interested in the pay-per-view numbers because I've never seen – I wasn't around New York for the De La Hoya fight. I was in the military. And that's kind of like, when you basically live on base, like you only know that small world. So like, yeah, the fight was huge, but there's only 5,000 of us that live there. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, you kind of expect anything to be huge, So, but I was here, man, and I just noticed there was like 3 fight parties on my block. There was 2 fight parties on my parents' block. And like, that shit never happens. Each bar was charging $25 a pop at the door and was getting the fight. And, the 3 main, like, sports-type bars were full. So I've never seen anything like this before. My house, I usually throw a poker game and stuff, and I get, like, steady 7 to 10 guys at the table, watch the fights. I had fucking 15 people here, plus, like, 3 or 4 girlfriends, so we had, like, 20 deep. And I've never seen a popularity of a fight before. And even though the fight underwhelmed in performance, because I think it was boring, I think it was a good event, and they carried the event well. Like, the broadcasting was good, the audio, everything was good. So
I said
I
Jamie
just feel
Foxx.
like what's up?
They said Jamie Foxx, bro.
Oh, we didn't listen to Jamie Foxx, man. We heard enough of those Jamie Foxx stories. We don't listen to him. but freaking I think it's good though that who knows next time, like, it could be really good if Canelo fights Cotto next. It won't be anywhere near the level, but it might just piggyback on, like, hey, it's another big event. Come watch. You know what I mean? And hopefully that happens, because it's the first and only time in my life that I've seen anything at this caliber where everybody was talking about it. And I've never seen that before. I wish, but I feel like even if the fight was great, it's not like it would have made those same people that aren't really going to watch anymore watch the next PBC fight. Like, you know what I mean? So I don't know how much piggyback you could really get, but the way ESPN was ripping the fight afterwards was fucking, they were taking a flamethrower to that shit. They were like, how is this guy going to call himself best ever? He's boring as hell. Like,
yeah,
what's he doing?
Teddy Atlas was going crazy, man. With
yeah, and what's his name?
Going out of control. Hopkins was defending.
The Spanish dude was too, but Hopkins even, like, defending him, but he was like, well, he's a good matchmaker. He's a good businessman. Yeah. And Teddy's like, I'm talking about fighters. he's like, he don't beat none of these 80s guys. And, I feel like, though, if you're a Floyd fan, as much as I hate on him, and I don't think he is, his resume doesn't stack up against, like, a Sugar Ray Leonard or anything, but if a Floyd fan wants to make an argument that his guy could beat any one of them, like,
well, here's the thing, though. I mean, he doesn't have the
argument.
benefit. He doesn't have the benefit of the deep division that they had. They had several
that's what I'm saying. Divisions. But even when he had his division at his deepest, he didn't, take advantage of it. I mean, he could have went 1, 2, 3. He could have just eliminated Margarito when the hype was there. He could have eliminated Paul Williams and then eliminated Cotto back to back to back and just shut everything down. And he just waited for all of them to fight each other and lose, and then fucking jumped on at the end,
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a black hole I'm not even going to go down, but...
Yeah, because he even said it, like, in his argument. He's like, they all fighting each other, they all losing, and who's here undefeated? Like, he said that to Brian Kenny the one time. It's like, wow, he just said how he was thinking, and it does make sense. Why fight all 3 when you can wait for it all to shake out and just knock out one, Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Nobody wanted to fight Williams, though, to be fair. None of those guys did.
TBE, but would he beat Tommy Hearns?
Yeah, nah, I don't think so.
Nah, I think Tommy Hearns would knock him out.
Well, and the thing is, Tommy Hearns, one, he's a great name, so I mean that automatically puts Floyd in a great status. And two, Tommy Hearns was a guy that eventually fought at a completely muscled up super middleweight and light heavyweight. So that's
I think Tommy Hearns beats Floyd, but if you're doing like an all-time ranking, I think Floyd would rank ahead of him just because Tommy Hearns lost those big fights.
I mean, really, the only couple of guys who were actually like Floyd's size that I think that you could say that might beat him or be 50-50 against him would be like Duran.
I think Duran.
Aaron
I think
Pryor.
Duran and Leonard beat him
like
pretty
Aaron
handily.
Pryor
And the thing about
Leonard
Leonard is
or something.
Leonard liked to close the show. He liked to throw those punches, and Floyd just really don't give a fuck, and you can't knock him because it's what he's done, and it's the way he's did it his whole life. Like you can't teach sometimes somebody gets so good in the post in basketball, they don't develop that mid-range jumper.
Well,
and if you don't need it, you don't have to. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like Willie Pep. Like he tried to win fights by making them not be fights. He tried to make them like hide and seek. Basically, I'm hitting you and you can't hit me, and that's all there is to it. And you can't do anything about it. The only guy that was able to beat him was Sandy Sadler, and Sandy Sadler did it by just making it a dirty, nasty fight and KO'd him. But then Willie Pep came back and beat him again.
Yeah, I don't think Floyd really ran. I mean, there was a couple rounds where he did, but like the 2 rounds that Manny clearly won, I thought were the 4th and the 6th. And in the 7th round, right after he won the 4th, Floyd just came back and took the plate right back and beat the shit out of him. And same thing with the 5th. Like he stopped that momentum quick. And I don't think he, aside from a couple times when he did, get caught moving back and forth, and he ended up doing a little run. Most of the time, he was within range. Pac just couldn't pull the trigger, and he knew he would get countered, and it was just a typical fight.
Yeah. When Floyd lands something, he leaps backwards. That's why it's good to get him trapped against the ropes so he can't leap backwards.
But that's why a big, strong welterweight, like he is kind of compared to Pac, fast, explosive. The guy should have power, and he just doesn't put a hurt on nobody.
All right, let me get back to the phone lines. Next in the queue was Brandon, so let me try and get Brandon on. While we're waiting for Brandon to answer. Looks like Brandon's not answering yet.
Yeah, I'm going to have to cut out soon, guys, but I just wanted to, just throw a little bit out there for the preview for Alvarez Kirkland. I think it's going to be it. I think this is a fight that people aren't going to want to miss because, I mean, depending on how Kirkland comes in there, I mean, he's looking like he's legitimately in shape even without Ann Wolf. So, I mean, if we see at least the 80% level James Kirkland, I think we're going to get a hell of a fight between him and Alvarez. I think he's got that mentality where like, okay, I might not be as skilled as this guy, but I'm gonna beat this. I'm gonna beat his ass. I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna take his whole soul away, like the opening intro clip. And I mean, between that fight and the Frankie Gomez Humberto Soto fight, I think that's gonna be a good night of boxing.
Kirkland's been so inactive though, but we'll get to that later. Anything else, Noto?
Yeah, just that, and then the CBS card looks good too. I'm looking forward to that. To see my boy Tomoki Kameda versus Jamie McDonald. That'll be a good fight. I got Kameda there. And then Figueroa versus Burns I think is going to be a war. I think that's going to be a fun fight too. That actually might wind up overshadowing Alvarez Kirkland, but I'm not entirely sure about anything. I'm not entirely sure about anything overshadowing that fight. But that's pretty much it.
All right, thank you, Noto. Brandon's picked up the phone. Brandon, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. What's going on, fellas?
Chilling, bro. How are you? What do you want to talk about?
Yeah, well, the last caller, I can't remember his name, Rilo. Yeah, he pretty much summed up everything I was basically thinking about what happened last night. The fight was just, it was a boring fight. It was a typical Mayweather fight, but my one thing that I was thinking was that being on this stage, maybe he would really want to push it. Maybe he would actually put his foot on the gas pedal. And, I don't know what it is, man. I personally think that he's very afraid of hurting his hands again. Because I think the last time I really saw Floyd throw punches with bad intentions was the Guerrero fight. And I can't remember what round it was, but later in the fight, he hurt his right hand. And when his dad just said, "You hurt your hand, huh?" And he just shook his head, and ever since then, he's just really lightened up on, throwing that right hand with bad intentions.
Yep.
But real quick, what you guys were talking about as far as historically, I'll get into that a little bit. I think that at this point, Floyd, to me, when you're trying to prove like your greatness as far as like all time, you have to, take over the spot of the guy that came directly before you, because then people can really see it and actually compare it. There's nothing he could do to ever really be better than a Sugar Ray Robinson or somebody like that, because, the distance is just too far. The game is so different. Most of those people are dead, that ever seen him fight. So, all he could really do is take over like a Sugar Ray Leonard spot. And to me, he just hasn't done that. And if he would have probably fought like Costa Tszyu back in the day, if he would have fought the winner of Margarita Williams, you know what I'm saying? Or the winner of, what's my man's name? What was the Brazilian dude who used to knock everybody out on Showtime? Freitas, yeah. If he would have beat, if he would have fought the winner of Casimiro Freitas back in the day, if he would have had those wins on his record, then you could say, okay, well, he never really, ducked any of the big opposition that was around at the time. He fought most of those top guys. You know what I'm saying? Then you could really make that argument. But, at this point, I don't think Floyd's beat anybody that's better than the top 3 guys that Leonard ever beat. And that being, Hagler, Hearns, Duran. And then you could maybe even make an argument that the Wilfredo Benitez that Leonard beat was better than the Pacquiao that Floyd beat last night. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, go ahead, Cam.
No, I think it's true.
I was going to say your Costa Tszyu example was, I think Costa Tszyu would have beat Floyd. I'm probably in a lonely boat there, but I think Costa Tszyu would have had a good chance. It would have been a tough fight for Floyd. I just think his style, very accurate, great jab, great right hand, power. I think that would have been I think Floyd would have really took the first 6, but then I think Costa would have kind of caught up to him. That would have been a great fight. Why those two didn't fight? Obviously, Ricky Hatton got in the way, but that would have been a great fight. But historically, yeah, I think you were talking about Duran, sort of just to say, I think Floyd would beat Duran. He wouldn't beat.
It's possible. It's possible. I don't know. The thing, a lot of people just remember the Roberto Duran that beat Sugar Ray Leonard. But I mean, if you look back at his record, he took losses to, I can't remember the guy's name, like De Jesus or something like that, back at lightweight. And I've watched some of those fights, and you look at him, and you say, yeah, Floyd could have beaten this guy at one time or another. But, Duran on his best day, you know what I mean, versus Floyd on his best day, I don't know. You know what I mean? I think Duran had the style. And he had the mindset, something that Cam said earlier that I completely agreed with, is that Manny was too happy about this whole thing from the weigh-in on. I mean, when he was at the weigh-in and he was smiling and he was hopping up and down and telling Floyd thank you and all this other bullshit, it was just like, I just didn't like his mindset, man. I didn't like it at all. I just thought he was going to go along with whatever Floyd did in the ring once the fight started. And that's pretty much what happened. He just didn't come out there with that, with the volume that he was going to need.
Yep. Totally agree, Brandon.
Yeah, man. But anyway, man, I'll let you guys go, man, because that's pretty much really all I got for it. Real quick, if Floyd fought Triple G, and we know it ain't gonna happen, and he beat Triple G, do you think that would be enough to push him ahead of Leonard?
I think it would.
Definitely be the argument.
Yeah, I think it would.
It would definitely put him right there side by side with him, if not past him.
I think that's the only thing he
Triple
can do.
G's a monster right now.
Yeah. When I look at it,
because like you said, Sugar Ray went up against Hagler and beat him. He beat a top guy. So
yeah, and I mean, we all know that Leonard was a physically probably a bigger man than Floyd is, because he went all the way up to 160.
Brandon, we can't hear you properly now. Something wrong with your mic.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. When Ray was a physically bigger man. He went all the way up to 168, And I can't remember the guy's name that he fought and won the original WBC strap back then. But, so I mean, it's not the same exact thing or whatever. And I'm not calling Triple G Hagler quite yet. You know what I mean? Because the middleweight division is weak and he still, to me, has to prove himself a little bit more to really be in that type of a conversation. But that's really the only thing he could do. And I don't see him doing it. Maybe if he would have fought Sergio, a couple of years ago or something like that at 154 or something, that'd be a pretty nice scalp to have on his resume. But it is what it is, man. I'm looking forward to next week. I'm just glad the whole thing is over. Boxing really did itself a disservice as far as the undercard. If they would have put something on the undercard for people to talk about, that would have really helped out everybody's feeling about this event. You know what I mean? Like if you would have had a big time knockout or Deontay Wilder on the undercard or something like that, people wouldn't feel like they so shitty. But that Leo Santa Cruz fight, that was terrible.
Yep.
Terrible.
Definitely.
Anyway, man, so I'll let you guys go, man. I appreciate the time, man.
Yo, great call, Brandon. Thank you.
All right.
Chill,
Peace.
Peace. I think it's gonna be Miguel Vasquez and then Rob Palmer. Rob Palmer's going crazy in the Mixler chat.
Miguel Vasquez, the boxer.
I don't think so, to be honest. But we're just waiting for Miguel to answer. If he doesn't, then I'll put Rob Palmer in the game. Miguel, are you there?
Yeah, what's up, guys? How y'all doing, man?
Good, man. Where are you calling from?
From here from Dallas, Texas, brother.
Excellent, man. What do you want to talk about?
Man, just we all know the sour grapes that we got from the fight this weekend. But I mean, we should respect that. We know how Floyd, style, his style, the way he fights, and I mean, we watched the fight, and of course, I was with my wife, and she was freaking pissed, 'cause we paid $100 for the pay-per-view.
Yep.
And then I didn't have no problem with it because I knew the Floyd style, and the only chance we had was Manny to go out there and fucking fight like an animal, which we had doubts on that too as well, But that was the only chance that we had, with Manny, and which I was pulling for Manny,
Yep.
Because I still figured that he had a little, I guess, hungriness in him, and I really thought that he wanted this fight, and just Floyd outsmarted him like he does everyone else, And the other problem that I have on the fight was the clinching. I didn't like the clinching a little bit, to be honest.
Yeah.
I didn't like the clinching, But then he stopped. I think it was in the 7th round. He completely stopped. I don't know if y'all noticed that. And then, like in the 11th round, he came out. At the 11th round, he came out strong, dude, trying to knock Manny out. And that's when I said, hell yeah, this shit's gonna get interesting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then the 12th round, he kind of went and started dancing again, and it was a win. Domination, fight against him. One thing I was going to ask you guys, have you heard, I don't know if this is true, but I heard there's a rematch for September.
I've not heard anything about that, to be honest. I don't know about you guys.
I'm watching it. It's all over Facebook right now.
In fact, Sports Illustrated just wrote an article, the match everybody wanted to see and the rematch nobody wants to see. I don't think it's going to happen.
I hope not, dude, because I think it's going to be the same outcome. Manny's making an excuse. That's one thing that pissed me off about Manny, I feel like, man, take your loss and just deal with it. Like Canelo did, he took the loss and he just said, you know what, couldn't get it done, and that's it. But why make excuses after the fight, saying that you hurt your arm and this and that? And then there was an interview, I don't know if y'all saw an interview with Manny saying that the way they treated him and the day of the fight, they didn't let him take his vitamins that day. And they refused his vitamins and water? I'm like, what the hell?
Nah, what he said was NSAC held all of his shit. Like, he had to submit his stuff that you would normally keep, and they held it for him. And they gave it to him before he'd go to the ring. So he couldn't just have his shit in his locker room with him and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
And he said when he submitted the application on the questionnaire for the numbing agent that he uses and the medicine he was using for like the last 3 weeks, that he got cleared through USADA, that NSAC basically said, nah, you're requesting it too late, so we're not going to give it to you. We're not going to let you use it. And he was like, what?
Yeah.
Because that type of numbing agent you can't take like before. Like I get those injections for my back sometimes. Like they really only work for like, they say 6 hours, but they really only work for like 4 hours. And you could get multiple shots a week, and it could get you through like a day or something like that. And I don't know if it was Toradol or lidocaine or something like that, but I'm assuming it was one of those.
So is it more like a numbing medication?
Yeah. It dulls the pain, but it won't make you any stronger. So if you have like a significant enough tear where like it's going to affect your strength, like you won't feel the pain, but you won't be able to use it as well because this tear will still be there. So structurally, you'll still be wrong. So like if it really was that bad, which I don't anticipate that it was, it don't matter that it was numb. He still wouldn't be able to swing hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, you're right. I think the outcome would have been the same. Yeah.
It would have been the same, and that's why I think NSAC dropped the ball. They should have just acquiesced and gave him the shot. This ain't a story. I think one thing that this fight proved is even if they fought 5 years ago or 50 years ago, that Floyd would always beat him.
No, I actually think, to your question, I think if he would have fought Floyd 5 years ago, I think Floyd would have probably schooled him even more 5 years ago. He was a lot faster, in my opinion. I don't know if y'all agree with that, but I think...
I disagree.
You disagree?
I disagree. There's a reason why he didn't want to... Well, if that was the case, why didn't he fight him 5 years ago?
Well, Floyd's a smart guy. He's a businessman. Look what he came down to it. He waited it that long just because he knew he was going to make a lot of money in it. That's what, in my opinion, that's what I think. I mean, he's smart, dude. I mean, look what he's done.
I think, like you're saying that Manny's bringing up excuses, but why is it okay for Floyd to put that shit in his hands, that numbing shit in his hands, and it's not okay for Manny to put it in his shoulder?
Well, yeah, I mean, and I agree on that issue. Yeah, you're right about that. But the point that I'm making is why bring it down when you lost? It's making you a little more of a loser. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with you. It sounds as if he's just whining. And
yeah, exactly. I mean, just fucking take it and say, you know what, fuck it. I lost, and he was a better man, and then move on. I mean, I think now, I guess his last fight, it should be who? Keith Thurman? You think?
Yeah, I think Thurman.
Right?
I think Amir Khan.
You think Amir Khan? See, that's enough. I think he'll get knocked out by Amir Khan. He got that questionable chin. I don't think so.
I can't see the Khan fight happening in September. That's the issue, really.
Yeah, see, because of the religion thing, right?
But here, listen, I was talking to someone at my work who's a Muslim, and he says if you're traveling, you don't need to observe it. Is that true?
So maybe it can happen then?
No, but the issue is he would have to be fasting during his camp. That would be the issue.
Yeah. What do you think of the chances on Keith Thurman? I just don't see it either.
There's no one else left though. Like, I think Kev's right. It's whoever wins out of Thurman and Porter should get the shot. Who else is there at welterweight? Like, maybe you could say Kell Brook, but I don't think that's going to be a good sell pay-per-view wise in the States.
I don't think anything's going to sell good pay-per-view wise. No one gives a shit anymore. They jumped the shark,
Yeah,
he already did what he did, and I think that's why he knows he's not going to have another fight. He's just going to have the one to finish out his contract, get his guaranteed money, and then maybe he'll come back in like 2 years or so when people want to see him or another star rises and it's his chance to make another, 100-something million. But I think he's going to just make the 32 million guaranteed and fight whoever and just notch it on the list. And that's it. Kevin Ioli just confirmed that it was Toradol, which I said it probably was because I know when I told you guys, like that one time I went out and I went down and I couldn't get up, that they shot me with Toradol because that doesn't get you high. You don't get a buzz. And it just takes the pain almost completely away.
Okay.
So that's what it was. It was Toradol. It's approved by USADA. He was using it throughout the training camp.
Okay.
Right. Miguel, you got anything else for us?
No. I guess I can't. I'm ready for Canelo. That's going to be a great fight. That's my camp for right there, Canelo. So,
quickly give us your prediction, man. How do you see the fight playing out?
I see Canelo, I see Kirkland pressure in the first rounds. He's going to come out strong, hungry, want to make a point, prove something.
Yeah.
And I see Canelo in the later rounds, probably dropping him.
To the body or head?
Yeah, probably to the body. Yeah, drop him to the body in the later, probably about the 8th round, 9th. I see him in a stoppage.
Nice.
On Canelo's behalf. So I'm looking forward. That's going to be a great fight. So I told my wife, don't worry. We don't have to pay for this one. We're going to get a good show on this one.
Can't complain with free
Great
boxing.
show, guys.
Thank you, Miguel. Great call, brother. Thank you.
Cheers, cheers, Miguel.
That was a good call. Trying to get Rob Palmer on. Robert.
What's up?
You're getting very salty in the chat, man. You can vent away. Go ahead.
I don't know where to start. I'm depressed by this. I don't know. Boxing might not be for me anymore, man. It might be time to just like sit back, just watch every now and then, become a casual fan. Can't be dealing with this.
Oh, so you're gonna become one of Hearn's fans then? Just casual?
No. Yeah, I'm just gonna go to Josh Warrington fights, take my shirt off, get drunk. That's how it's gonna be.
No one wants to see that, Rob. Come on.
Yeah, I'm only gonna buy pay-per-views from now on. No, but I mean, for me, I just find it sad. I find it sad that Mayweather's not getting his props. I feel like, okay, there's some stuff you can be critical of, but just hold off for 3 days, and then be salty. But for just a little bit of time, this is like a grieving period for the Pactards. Just have that period of time where you just have to honour the man's greatness and just give him his props. And I know everyone's going to say, like, I'm giving him his props. If you were doing that, you wouldn't be talking shit as well. You'd just give the guys props, hold off, and then say all the stuff you didn't like about it. It was greatness. The guy's 38 years old, and he did that to one of the best fighters. Pacquiao's still one of the best fighters ever, and he dominated him.
Aye, but he done it in a really boring style.
Boring is boring style, fair enough, but I don't see anywhere in the rules where it says you have to fight a certain way. What I do see in the rules is that fights can be scored based on ring generalship and defense. If you don't want boxing to be that way, go petition for those things to be taken out of the rules, and it can be Mexicans beating up Mexicans.
Yeah, okay, but when you've got so many casuals and the chance to grow the sport, don't you have a kind of responsibility? I'm not saying get punched in the face to make it exciting, but at least engage a little bit. Fucking give the fan the money's worth.
Fuck the casuals.
I agree with you there. Fuck the casuals.
I had to hear them talking shit all week, and now I come in almost fucking. My wife's not talking to me right now because I almost beat the shit out of some guy in a shopping centre yesterday, talking shit about the fight, and I had to fucking pull him up on it. I couldn't resist. This has been driving me crazy.
Did you keep him at the end of your jab?
No, I think you just held him.
He ran.
Yeah, he ran.
No, you ran.
I just wish the guy. He finally fought the guy. Everybody said he was stuck in for 5-6 years, and dominates him, and nobody's giving him credit. I don't remember anywhere when people were like, fight Pacquiao for 6 years. I don't remember anyone saying fight Pacquiao, but you have to do it like you're Golovkin. You can't do it like you're.
Because Floyd can do no right. That's why. Floyd can do no right.
There you go.
No, listen, this is the hypocrisy of boxing. If Riggin down...
No, listen, whatever.
No, Neota, you've been cutting off people all night. Let me speak.
Kostya Tszyu was injured that entire time, got his ass whooped by Ricky Hatton, and then Floyd whooped Ricky Hatton's ass.
Styles make fights, you know that, Nicky.
Floyd didn't fight Ricky
I know
Hatton
that.
right after he
Tszyu
waited
never
3 years and then fought him at 147.
So who the fuck was he? Kostya Tszyu got his ass whooped by Vince motherfucking Phillips.
And Kostya Tszyu also fucking put out of operation some talented prospects. Listen, he probably ended careers before they even began because he fucking ducked up and comers. That's one thing I've got to say about Floyd. He never fought fucking prospects, apart from Canelo, and if he did, he fucking made them go down in weight. Now, what I will say about Floyd also, if fucking Rigondeaux put in that performance yesterday, people would be shitting on it.
Nah, he
did that kind of performance.
Yeah, like you are, Chew. Just like you are right now.
Exactly, I'm shitting on that performance. He won. He's the best.
But would you shit on Rigondeaux? Would you be shitting on Rigondeaux?
How about you shit on Pacquiao's performance for not being good enough?
True, Rigondeaux did the same thing to Donaire. We talking about, and we praised him.
I remember Chew shitting on him. I know I did.
Did he?
I know.
I know I did because I was one of the 3,000 people that walked out of the fucking stadium.
You gave him a lesson. I don't know what you're talking about, man.
It's shitting on them with an asterisk. Of course, he's doing it with skill, but sometimes you've just got to fucking, I don't know, make a show of it, man. It's fucking.
But who's he fighting?
Make a show of it, man.
He's not fighting a Latvian. He's fighting the second best fighter of the last 10 years.
Yeah, but okay, you've got all the fucking advantages. You could tell after fucking about 3 or 4 rounds you're in control of it.
But who was talking?
But
where was this? Where were people saying this 6 years ago? Everyone's been saying for 6 years that he's ducking this guy, he's not fighting him. But then he fights him, and all of a sudden there's all these caveats that go with it, where no one can give him credit.
But that's
no
on
one
him.
So why are so
him.
many people pissed off then? Why are so many people pissed off?
Because they made their mind up.
This,
this fight was only ever going to be great in people's eyes if Mayweather lost. People just want to see Mayweather lose. So they can take it.
It had nothing to do with watching a great fight. It had everything to do with watching Pacquiao whoop Mayweather. That's all that people built the shit up as. If they were being really honest, if they wanted to hold Floyd to that TBE shit, they'd be demanding he do some otherworldly shit like Roy Jones did. Go up and fight Golovkin or some shit. But they're not, because they're fucking too stupid to realize that stupid shit.
That's bullshit. If they would have gave out a Hagler Hearns right there and Floyd would have won, you don't think people would have been happy?
Exactly.
People weren't commenting on who won or who lost. They were commenting on how boring the fight was.
Yeah, but
and that's exactly what they were doing. And everybody's giving ESPN shit for like talking about how boring it was. But when they have a Twitter timeline that feeds up with millions of tweets that say it's boring, or are they supposed to come out and tell a story about you don't know what you're watching, or are they supposed to say,
no.
Yeah, you found it boring?
They weren't talking. No, yeah, they were found it boring because Pacquiao was not good enough, and he didn't try, and he didn't go out on a shield. Maidana did that. Maidana fucking did that.
So a welterweight bout of a guy throwing 35 punches is exciting? Like, he threw less punches than average heavyweights.
I'm not saying that it's exciting. I'm saying put the blame on the guy that deserves the blame. Put the blame on the guy that's not good enough to make it a fight.
The blame's on two guys. The blame's on the fight.
Kevin, this is not Olympic game. This is not Olympic Games.
Hey,
on
the blame is not on Mike Tyson
Stop.
when his opponent's not good enough to not last more than 90 seconds.
No. Tyson does what he's supposed to do if you're not good enough in the last 90 seconds. He takes you out. Did Floyd take out Pacquiao?
Yeah, there's a bit of a difference though, isn't there?
I guess so, right? Yeah, one guy excited and one guy didn't. If Floyd would have came out and knocked out Pacquiao in 2 minutes and he fucking
Pacquiao
did some Mike Tyson shit, would one person be saying it was boring? I don't think so. I know MV2 wouldn't.
But did Mike Tyson fight the equivalent of the second best fighter of his generation and knock him out? No. Whenever Mike Tyson stepped up, he lost. Yeah,
because Mike Tyson isn't as good as Floyd, but we're talking about excitement right now, so I don't get your correlation.
Because, but there's nothing this is not on the PlayStation where you got to press a button as many times as possible. There's nothing in the rules that says you got to throw more punches than the other guy. Even though
there isn't.
Mayweather threw more punches than Manny Pacquiao.
And no one's talking about the rules. Everyone's talking about whether they enjoyed the fight or not. And the majority of the public, besides the 10% of hipster elitist boxing fans, looked at it for what it was, which was a boring event. I don't understand why an NBA fan could watch an NBA game and was like, damn, that was a boring game. But there's 15 other exciting games. That doesn't mean you don't like the sport. It just means that game was boring. It happens.
Yeah, but you still got to give them credit. You've still got to give them the credit for winning the game.
Of course, we do. You know, Chelsea just won the English Premier League, but they're boring as fuck. Same analogy with Floyd. Great fighter, boring as fuck to watch.
That's the truth of it, Rob. You can't deny that, Rob.
I mean, people can say it's. If people say it's boring, that's fine. But you got to give the guy credit at the same time.
Yeah,
and
we have done.
People should have held off on calling it boring.
Why should we hold off? For what reason?
Because
there's no reason. Because you like him. Because you like him. That's why.
Because you sound like butthurt fucking losers. That's why.
Oh, don't talk shit, mate.
It's not because I got the pick wrong. It's because I'm hurt that he hurt the sport. And if you criticise it, what hurts me more is there's a whole bunch of guys who are saying, oh, if you didn't like the fight, you don't understand boxing, or you don't know shit about boxing.
bullshit.
What a bunch of
Did
fucking propaganda bollocks,
Did anybody say that here? No.
You fucking will, you imply it with your tone of your voice and fucking...
Yeah, absolutely.
You're emotional.
Well, yeah, then stop putting words in my mouth if you don't want to have it implied.
You know what I'm saying, Neota. You know that your feelings are hurt, that my feelings are hurt. Let's just fucking drop this thing.
My feelings are just fine, man. I know that there's more to boxing.
I'll take to see it if you're hurt then.
I know that
I'll
there's
take to
more
hear you
boxing than two guys.
Go on.
There's more to boxing than two guys, man. I've said it all along.
Yeah, well, I'm glad it's over, man. It's
exactly,
over.
Neo. That's my point. There's more than two guys, and two guys other together might make for a fun fight. You know what I mean? So the sport doesn't rest on these two guys, in my opinion. I don't see how you should ignore, like, anytime you go to an event, whether it's a movie, a play, a game, any sporting event, you either leave entertained or not. And that's what it is. And at the bottom line is that's what you go to. When you spend money, it's for entertainment, and if you're entertained or not. And that's the truth.
The difference is, though, Kevin, is I don't go and see... If I didn't like the first Avengers film, I wouldn't go and see Avengers 10 and complain about it. I'm the idiot for going back and watching it again.
So, all right. So if I go to one Yankee game that fucking Roger Clemens pitches and he pitches like shit, I should never go back to another game. Because if he pitches like shit again, it's my fault. It's my fault for going.
If you're talking about a sport that takes place, you know, an athlete that competes once a year or twice a year, it's different to the Yankees who play 150 games a year.
So you can't have a performance that deviates from the mean. Because it's twice a year.
There's been Floyd Mayweather fights that I'm sure you have found entertaining, like the card.
Exactly, there has been. There's been more than one. I found the Gotti fight entertaining because he did what he's supposed to do with an outmatched guy. He beat the shit out of him, but he didn't do that against Valdemir.
Was Pacquiao an
Valdemir was boring.
Was Pacquiao an outmatched guy?
Yeah, on that night he proved that he was that far much better than that Pacquiao that night. There was nothing. Pacquiao won about 30 seconds of like of a round outside of the fourth and the sixth.
I don't know. What was everyone's scorecards? Because I've seen people scoring it as close as
I had it my troll scorecard where I had it with the 7-5, but my real scorecard was 9-3, and I had to give him either the 12th or the 10th to make it 9-3. The only rounds I saw Pacquiao winning were the fourth and the sixth.
I had it 10-2.
And you had the fourth and the sixth too, Naota, or did you give him the 12th or something?
I'm pretty sure it was 4 and 6.
Everyone gave him 4 and 6.
I gave him 4, 6, 12, and
possibly 2. 10, right? 10 and 12 were somewhat close.
I gave him 12 because Floyd didn't do anything.
Yeah,
the thing is, with those clear Mayweather rounds, they were dominant rounds, weren't they? As well, like the rounds that Pacquiao won, he like snuck them.
No, he dominated 4.
Well, I'd say one of those rounds. Yeah, I'd say the 6th probably. He snuck it, but the 4th was, I'd say, clear Pacquiao because Mayweather really didn't do too much.
What was their strategy like? What was Roach's strategy for winning that fight? I don't get it. What was the master plan? What were they thinking?
There wasn't one.
Their strategy is eat Butterfingers, buy Samsung, and knock Floyd out. And Floyd's a runner.
Yeah.
And Geico.
Halibut fish washes.
And pistachio.
Cool.
All he had to do was just throw a little bit more. And he could have joked out Daggy Dummies and Colonel Hopkins.
He should have got him out of there. Yeah. Sorry, he's not good enough. He should have got him out of there.
Right. You know what, you guys have calmed me down a little bit because I was salty because I'm hearing it.
You're a flow mo, aren't you?
You haven't changed my mind, right?
Flamor.
You haven't changed my mind, but I respect your opinion because you guys know the sport and you love it like I do. So I respect that you guys have an opinion. The frustrating thing for me is when the casuals start talking stuff. I start hearing like the fight should have been scored to Pacquiao because he moved forward more. Like,
that person's an idiot then.
Yeah, I want to.
All right, Rob. Anything else?
You got to deduct about 8 points from Floyd for his style.
There's a casual in all of us, though.
Yeah, but you know what? Mayweather's one of the reasons why I got into the sport. He's one of the, I started watching some big fights and then I saw this Mayweather guy. I was like, fuck, this guy's amazing. I don't think I would.
Do you like defensive football, Rob?
Floyd Mayweather.
Do you like really defensive football?
I appreciate things like tactics.
You enjoy defensive football?
Probably more than others.
Same thing, isn't it?
Answer the question, Rob. Do you enjoy defensive football?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, okay, so you're difficult. You're contrary, man. You're a contrary dude, man.
Listen, this is what would happen.
You're a contrary dude.
I know Harmada's on the line. If Harmada tried to take me on right now, right, I'd just take that ball off him, skip past him, no worries. There's a skill to it.
Flamada, he's on your side, man.
But Rob, anything else? Because we want to get to Hamada, then we want to talk some prediction league, and then get on to next week. So it's already about 2.5 hours in. Anything else?
Greatest of all time. It's sealed.
Okay. Thank you, Rob. Cheers. Flomada.
Yo, MP2, you're out of control.
Flomada.
How you say watching Mayweather is like watching Chelsea?
I'm being
watching
generous.
Mayweather.
I'm being generous to Chelsea though.
watching Floyd is like watching Messi. The way Messi skips past them defenders trying to kick him, Floyd's getting away from all them punches that these waste men are throwing at him.
It's like Mayweather if he's playing in goals.
Oh, whatever, man. When does hate gonna stop, man? You're telling me you didn't enjoy that?
The hate stopping after today because nothing for something said in the chat earlier. This fight is never getting mentioned after tonight, so get it all out today.
I mean, what do you want me to say? Do you want me to say that he's talented? He is talented. I've already said that. I'm just saying that he's got so much ability. He could do more with it.
So you don't enjoy?
He makes Of course I don't. I like attacking boxers.
So you don't enjoy him making people miss and making people look stupid?
I enjoy a competitive, exciting fight. If it's not competitive, that's not his fault. But if it's not exciting, that is his fault.
I just don't get the hate. Man. At the end of the day, I enjoyed it.
It's not hate. The majority of the people, the feedback from the fight has been, it wasn't a good fight. You're in the minority. You're in the minority, Flamada.
Yo, where's Ari? Ari fall asleep?
No, I'm here.
How you letting these guys hate on Floyd like that, man?
Well, you haven't been listening from the start already. Crow's just struggling to digest that crow. That's all it is.
Yeah, man. Floyd put on a masterclass today.
And obviously his pockets are hurting a bit.
And the worst thing
Cruz got acid reflux.
It's because you're forcing that crow down me like Floyd forces a fight.
The worst thing was, I don't even think that's
Pause.
top 5 Floyd's best performances. I don't even think that's up there with one of his best performances. For me, that was like a standard Floyd Mayweather performance, and he made Manny look like shit.
Yeah, I agree. Manny did look like shit. But if I'm going to play devil's advocate, I would say that he was injured.
He weren't injured. Who ain't injured? Everyone goes into a fight not 100%. Everyone's got niggles. The training camps are so hard. You're bound to pick up a knock here and there. Everyone does. He's sounding worse than David Hay.
Have you ever actually, can I just play devil's advocate to that? Have you actually ever injured your toe and tried to box? Fucking hell, it's not easy. But anyway.
Oh, man, this.
I'm being serious here, Cam, you tell him. But fucking... Floyd is Floyd. He's gonna... The sport is gonna be better when he retires. If you can't see that, then what can I say?
No, it's not.
Why not?
I don't think so. I think Floyd keeps eyes on the sport. When Floyd goes, a lot of the audience is gonna go. Because people are not gonna know who these guys are. Simple as.
No, I mean, I disagree. I think
it's the truth. Floyd brings a crowd like no one else does. Who's going to be doing 1 million pay-per-views now?
Yeah, but
when
he
Floyd goes?
brings a crowd. He brings a crowd to watch him. He doesn't bring a crowd to watch Chocolatito and Inoue and Triple G.
Exactly.
also-
Who's going to watch these guys?
Hamada, Floyd.
Who's gonna watch these guys? Is people that know about him, people that actually
What,
care
me-
to watch boxing, not just Floyd.
What, me and you only? And a couple other people.
All right, Nota. Try not to cut everyone off, Nota. What are you going to say, Dan?
All right, yeah, sorry.
I was just gonna say that Floyd brings a very, very selective audience. So, I mean, you can make the argument that he obviously brings more eyes to the sport, but to me, it's to the detriment to the sport because we're going to not have to go through these fucking fruitless conversations in the future when Floyd fights, because that's all he brings. I mean, he brings like a 10% fan base that actually knows what they're talking about, and in my opinion, the other 90% who don't know shit about the sport. So good riddance, in my opinion.
Yes, Dan.
So how many people that watch boxing actually
Big right hand by Dan.
know about boxing? Majority of people that watch boxing are casuals.
That's not my point. It's not about casuals. It's about actually, enjoying the sport for the right reasons. And I know that sounds very snobbish, but just to the build up to this fight itself, you have so many people engaging in conversations, and they're not even talking about the fight itself. They're just talking about the athlete or how they glorify him or talk about things that are completely irrelevant to the sport.
I just think that without Mayweather, most of these guys will be less known. I mean, when they call out Mayweather, they get some attention. Most of these people, you know what I'm trying to say? It's the truth.
You think guys
Is Robert Guerrero a star right now?
And hold on, you think Guerrero? You think people care about Maidana more now because he fought Floyd twice, not just once, twice?
Yeah, people watch Maidana again. They'll remember him as that guy that gave Floyd trouble.
But how much of a difference would it have made if he didn't fight Floyd? It's pretty negligible in my opinion. And Amir Khan was in the discussion for that fight for quite a while, and no one really seems to give a shit about him here in the States. So I think it's imagined.
I just think there's one thing left for Floyd to do in his career, and that's to fight in front of 81,000 fans in Wembley.
Against who? Kell Brook? Amir Khan?
Nah, just to, Carl Froch seemed to tell him a lot about Wembley, and I think that's all that's left to top that.
I think Floyd's legacy sealed, but my bad. Go ahead, Kim. Sorry about that.
Just to give a background to Hamada's comments, Sky in the UK were using Carl Froch as an analyst, and in his interview after the weigh-in to Floyd, he had to drop in that he knocked George Groves out in Wembley Stadium in front of 80,000 fans, so that's what Hamada's making reference to. But it was very corny, I thought, of Froch to do that.
Yeah. Floyd's legacy is sealed. He doesn't have to go over to Wembley Stadium, obviously. I mean, the size of the venue has absolutely no bearing on your legacy. That's ridiculous.
Tell Carl Froch that.
I can't because he's kind of an idiot, so I don't think I could, get it through his head, but...
Broner gave us another remix to Wembley. He called it Wellington.
They use anything with a W.
Yeah. He said the Khan, let's fight in Wellington.
Hey, but just before people give me shit for me, being a big Pacquiao fan, I am a huge Pacquiao fan, but I also did pick Floyd. And leading up to the fight, I honestly didn't have any idea how Manny would win that fight. And that kind of just came into fruition on Saturday night.
Were you extra disappointed with Manny though? Because I was.
I was so disappointed that I wasn't disappointed. You know that gut, that feeling where if it's somewhat close, you have more of an aftershock.
Yeah.
After the event itself, but Manny was just so poor, and his volume and his output was so low that quite frankly, I just don't really give a shit. I just want to move on to this Saturday now.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like if it was a football game and it was 21-0 right off the jump, like that's pretty much what happened. You don't care. But if it's close and it's back and forth, and then they just play like shit in the fourth quarter and you lose, that hurts.
Well, after the fourth round, I was getting excited. Like, here we go. This is it. Here we go. And then the next round, it just gets fucking shut out. I was just like, okay, bye. See it.
I want to mention two things. Like, did you not notice, firstly, that Mayweather outworked this volume puncher? Did any of you notice that?
I would say it's tough to say you outwork somebody throwing 35 punches around. I guess you did
He threw
Not
more
as
punches.
less.
He threw more punches.
Yeah, but 35 punches around is as bad a work rate as you're ever
But he
going to
threw
see.
more punches.
So you have to give Pacquiao criticism as well. Then
I give you credit for that.
Who didn't give Pacquiao criticism?
So what's your second point, Amada?
why were they tapping gloves so much? Did anyone notice that?
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier.
Yeah, man, they tried. Manny's just, you can tell it's gone, man. He's not this vicious bastard he used to be when he was on PEDs.
Of course he's not. Why do you always have to bring that second aspect of it?
Nah, man, he's soft now, man. Tapping gloves with Floyd every minute, man. It's just...
He's absolutely soft.
You know, Floyd tried to tap gloves with Maidana. Maidana tried to punch him in his face.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's why I do think this fight, unlike some other people, you can't just use this one instance and think, 5 years ago it would have been exacerbated. I think that's kind of ridiculous. I mean, again, I know I'm speaking from the perspective of Manny fan, but if you're an explosive fighter like Manny that relies so heavily on athleticism, that's something that deteriorates greatly with age. Floyd's style is better suited with growing older because there are things that you could still rely on without the same amount of reflexes and speed. So, of course, Floyd is naturally going to be the better boxer as he gets older. I'm not saying Manny would beat Floyd at 2009. I'd still pick Floyd, but it would be a more fun and entertaining fight.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Let me give some attention to the Prediction League. Obviously, it's been refreshed. Season 2 of 2015 started off this weekend with the new point system as well. If you go to your own profile and then below that you'll see where it says the coalition point system. You click on the blue bit and then it pops open and you see all the changes we made. Main changes: for a loss you get -8 points now instead of -2. Also, if you pick a knockout for a certain round and it's one round off, you'll get a bonus of 10 points. And also, split decision, majority decision is less now. You won't get 60, I think you get 50 now. And also for big fights, obviously we couldn't do it for the Floyd Mayweather fight because Mao hadn't implemented the new point system at the time. But for big fights like Canelo Kirkland, there's an extra 50 points you can get for the correct prediction, and that's just for predicting the correct prediction. So let me give props to I'll give to the top 5 just because it's the first week and everyone's quite kind of bunched up together. We got my boy Basileus, finally pronounced it correct this time, aka Milos. He's in first with 130. J Bowes 7, 120 in second. Nothing for Something in third with 110. Hamada and Nam 82 in joint fourth with 100, and Hugh in fifth alongside Minor Bongo with 92. This week we got quite a few fights. I think there's 11 that I put up today. So definitely some big changes can happen in this first week. People can run away with it or get bunched together. Like I said earlier, the Alvarez Kirkland fight is a star fight, so you'll get extra points for that one. That's about it for the Prediction League. Anyone want to mention anything with the Prediction League? Hamada, man, you had a good start, seeing as though you're the reigning champ.
You don't get extra points for the Monahan fight?
Nah, sorry for that, kid.
Yeah, man, I was going to say, do you want me to give my tips for the week? Anyone want to know who I think's going to win?
Are you doing reverse psychology so people pick the wrong stuff?
Nah, I'm actually being serious. I'll actually give some honest opinions.
Well, you can do it when we're talking about...
Can you just save it for later, please?
Yeah, I was going to say, we can do it when we're talking about the fights.
Okay, I'll give them one.
Go ahead.
The other guy that's fighting Uchiyama is going to beat him.
Okay, cool.
Thanks.
I gave you that one. If that comes in, no one can say, how do I know anything? I gave you that the tip.
The thing is, every time you talk now, it just seems like you're trolling, so I find it hard to take you serious these days.
That being said, I actually watched Uchiyama's last fight and he looked like shit. And this guy's 9-0. He seems like he's a hot prospect coming up. So I can see him doing the job, man.
Fair enough. Before we get to the fights, I might just do the chat room roll call now because every time I do it at the end of the show, everyone leaves just before the end of the show. There's like 30 people left. So Super Merc, Basileus, Nothing for Something, TBE Chef, Nesmatic, Ari Goldboss, Nunes 83, J Swede, Unfightable, BRD Hate, Alan Hurst, Jack Captain, Shams 1000, Beast Mode, how do you pronounce that, Hamada? Hersini Jr.? Probably. The 17, Naota, Joe Said It's True, Linear 1030, Panama Said, MB Chew, Bobby G, Tommy D 107, Steve Love, Arizona Slim, Nick G, Adolf for Real, Rob Palmer 135, Antonio Jose Sanchez, Roos, Die Hard Casual Fan, James Bennett, Johnny B 86, FUT, Host Layer Dwyer, Serato 5, Jas 85, Violator, Z334, Black Ski Mask Joe, Mount Alpha, The Genius, Henry Lyles, and 21 guests. Dan, we missed you.
Thank you.
Let's talk about your favorite boxer, Canelo.
I haven't heard that.
Canelo the Ginger Alvarez.
Yes. I know I'm on a very, very, very cold streak, even though I got last week's prediction right, so hooray me. But if Canelo loses this Saturday, I might quit watching boxing forever. And if Frankie Gomez loses this Saturday, I might kill myself. That's my boy.
Don't say that shit, man. People are going to hold you to it.
No, of course. Can you imagine if Frankie loses?
No, it'll just be a prediction and he got wrong again.
Well, the thing is, I still haven't registered, so I'm not an official member of that group. But
how the fuck have you not registered?
You know what? I think I did register, actually. I'm pretty sure my nickname is Canelo's Thickness, so I'm sure I'm there somewhere. But yeah, this Saturday, I think just by virtue of the fact that it's after this Mayweather Pacquiao fight, it's just going to be good, just because it's guaranteed action. And I feel like it's going to be a lot like the Angulo fight. I mean, granted, Kirkland, I think, is a little bit more athletic, but even then, I don't think he's that much more athletic. And his volume is probably going to be a little higher. But the thing that a lot of people forget about that Angulo fight, which I think is a valid comparison, is Canelo completely seeped all the energy from Angulo in those first 2 rounds with body shots. Like, no one really mentions that. When Canelo fights a come-forward fighter, that style suits him so well that I think he's going to end up stopping probably in the 6th to 7th round mark against Kirkland. So it should be pretty easy pickings in my opinion. I just don't see anything that Kirkland does better than Canelo.
Chew, what do you think?
Yeah, I've got Kirkland. I think Kirkland's going to steamroll him. I think it'll be a great fight. I do agree with Dan that his style is kind of face first. Pause. But I think he's going to just... if Canelo can't knock him out early, I think Canelo's got stamina problems, and I think if James Kirkland comes in shape, he won't have stamina problems. So Canelo early, Kirkland late, but I've got Kirkland late. Late stoppage or decision win. Be a great fight though. I think it's a classic fight.
Did you say Canelo early, Kirkland late?
Yeah. I think Canelo could knock him out.
I have it other way round.
Have you?
Yeah, because I think Kirkland hasn't got much gas himself.
But the thing is, I don't think Kirkland's that heavy of a puncher, man. There's some people in the chat that are trying to say that you can't use Angulo as a comparison because Angulo's washed, but I still feel like even that version of Angulo is pretty damn close to Kirkland.
Yeah, I disagree just with you, Ari. I think Kirkland's got stamina. When he's with Ann Wolf, he's got stamina. When he's not. But that'll be the question. How good is he without Ann Wolf? What's his game plan going to be? Is he just going to just jump him from the jump? So I think if he gets through the first couple of rounds, I think it's Kirkland's fight.
One of the big issues for me is Kirkland's inactivity. I think what was his last fight? The Tapia fight.
Yeah.
That was
18 months ago.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
And also, I know Canelo does have stamina issues. I mean, that's pretty apparent. But again, I think it's all about styles. You know, for those of you guys who have boxed or who have sparred, when you're fighting in your comfortable, natural, position where you can really just fight in your own comfort zone, you really don't expend that much energy. And obviously for Canelo, that's as a counterpuncher who can just sit on his punches and doesn't have to lunge forward and chase his opponents, a la Trout, Mayweather, and Lara. But against guys like Angulo and Kirkland this Saturday, obviously, he's just going to be in his comfort zone. He's just going to be able to pick his shots, pick his opponents off. And as you can see, even in that Angulo fight, even though obviously that output decreased as the rounds went on, he still was throwing bombs in that 8th and 9th round. So I don't think stamina is going to be that much of an issue.
Kev, what do you think?
I think Canelo is the better fighter, and better fighters win fights. I think he's more versatile. I think he's just growing into his man strength and his body and his coordination and everything. And I think the stamina issues are only questions, and I don't know if this goes long enough where it's going to be a factor, because Kirkland's going to be there to be hit, and I just feel Canelo's combinations are real sharp, so once he starts landing them, it's over.
And also, Angulo has a fucking granite chin, something that Kirkland obviously doesn't have. So I can see this fight ending really early too.
And we all know Kirkland's not good at getting caught early.
You said Angulo's got a granite chin, but Kirkland cracked it.
That's completely irrelevant.
Yeah. And he cracked it after gas.
I don't even know what you're trying to say, Hamada. I mean, it's a granite chin. It went 6 rounds against Kirkland's bombs for those 6 rounds. That doesn't mean he doesn't have a good chin, or that doesn't make Kirkland have a better chin.
No, what I'm saying is that Kirkland is live because he can punch, and if he catches Canelo on the chin a few times, things are going to get interesting.
Yeah, I agree. And I think if Kirkland gets right on his chest, gives him some of that body work, I think it would get interesting as well.
Yeah. And we would have to say that this is probably the biggest puncher Canelo fought so far. Because he fought a lot of smaller guys coming up.
Definitely.
Yeah, but the thing about Kirkland is he's so fucking easy to hit.
Yeah.
He's so wide.
He don't even try not getting hit.
He's just sloppy as shit, man.
Yeah.
I'm worried about he'll get caught with an uppercut.
No, he will get caught.
You love uppercuts, MV.
He'll get hit by uppercuts. True.
I love Canelo's uppercut. And I think Canelo's got the better punches.
I like Canelo's left hook right hand, and I think he gets real torque on that right hand when he throws it straight after a left hook. And let's face it, I think Kirkland's easy to be hit. If he gets hit with those two, I think it could be a wrap.
What are you guys basing these bad?
Canelo's looking big as shit. Like, if you've seen any of his workouts, he's looking big. Like, and he's right around that age where, you start developing that strength, which is why I think he can't make below 155, and he's sitting at those higher weights because he's just naturally bigger. He's growing into his dense muscle.
What are you going to say, Chu?
No, I was going to say, what is Dan and Kev basing Kirkland's bad chin on?
The fact that he's gotten dropped by my cousin from Japan
3 times in one round.
Yeah, I don't count that fight.
How do you not count it?
Because he wasn't in shape.
So
I think there's
your chin doesn't just go out.
He got dropped hard by Porter.
He's been in with bigger punchers than that since.
Your chin doesn't just go away just because you're out of shape.
What bigger punchers? He's only been in like 2 fights since then, and one of them was Tapia.
Tapia's a bigger puncher than Ashida.
Wasn't that the fight that he got stopped because of the 3 knockdown rule, not because he was actually all over the place? Like,
that's not my point. It's the point that he got dropped 3 times.
3 times in 2
but
minutes.
if he's getting up, surely
but if
he should be allowed to continue.
No, that's fair, Hamada, but that also means that he's down 3 additional points. So
it's the first round. You probably got caught cold.
I just think he wasn't in shape. I think conditions got, like, you look at Floyd. I don't even think Floyd's got that great a chin. It's just he's so well conditioned that straight away he snaps back out of it. And
yeah, I mean, I started following Sean Porter when I heard about that sparring session he had with Kirkland, where he basically put Kirkland down, and Kirkland was going all out a couple weeks from a fight, and I don't know. I don't think it's really a big surprise or a secret that Kirkland has a questionable chin. I mean,
Are you picking Canelo by knockout?
yeah. I think Canelo's going to try to steal the show after what happened this week. I think Canelo has that type of mentality,
My boy.
and I think he's going to do it.
Hey, the 24/7 is tonight, right?
Is it? I'll get my
think so.
paper towels and my lotion ready.
Exactly. That's it. I went to Costco yesterday already, so I'm good. You know that's must-watch TV. So for everyone in the chat, be on the lookout for that. Hey Cam, can we do a post show, or I don't even know how to call this properly. Can we do a post show?
Nah, Lim, you mean 24/7 review?
Exactly.
No.
Lim, you can always do your own show.
Yeah, but that's just going to turn out to be very inappropriate. I need someone to wrangle it in, you know?
You can have Chemo on there as well.
You guys remember when Chemo was such an advocate against Canelo before that Angulo fight? He fucking hated Canelo.
Yeah, I did as well, to be honest.
Now he's a Canelo fanboy, so it is kind of you know what? Honestly, I always liked Canelo, but I always admitted that he was kind of a bitch because obviously the way he won that title at junior middleweight was an absolute farce. But you just gotta appreciate what he's done so far. I mean, he's one of the few people that when he says that he wants to fight the best, I actually believe him. So I just hope he doesn't fight Triple G because actually, I mean, of course, I want him to fight Triple G as a fan, but I think that might be the end to his.
Yo, Dan, what's your prediction for this fight?
I think it's going to be kind of like Angulo, except I think because Kirkland isn't as durable as Angulo, I feel like Canelo's going to stop him. And
why do you think that he's not as durable as Angulo? I mean, why are you saying that? He only lost against Ishida, and he got dropped 3 times, but he wasn't hurt. I mean, it doesn't matter how many times you get dropped if you are able to beat the other guy. I mean, obviously he didn't have that chance at that moment, but I don't think that he's weak. I mean, I understand, and I'm picking Canelo too, because based on inactivity. I mean, Kirkland is a fucking idiot because he has not been fighting. But I think that this is one of the biggest tests for Canelo. If Kirkland is in the right shape, obviously. But I mean, can you say that, Canelo's resume is better than Kirkland?
No, I can't. Actually, you know what? It's, you know what? I think it is a little better just because of his recent opposition. Why do you bring that up?
Because I was talking with the one in the chat, and he was saying that, Canelo's resume is better, but he beat Lara. Yes, that was a tough fight for him. I give him a lot of credit for Trout, but that was a close fight too. And he beat also Angulo, but Kirkland beat him better. He beat him in Mexico. I don't know I think I give him more credit for that. But he also beat Molina when Molina was beating everyone, and Molina beat Molina beat Lara. And I know that Kirkland was losing against Molina, but in the later rounds he was killing Molina. He was dropping Molina. I mean, he had a chance at least. But
that's fair. But also in regards to that Angulo versus Canelo and Kirkland Angulo, I mean, Canelo dominated him for 8 rounds. Angulo didn't win a single round. And granted, and then I'll okay, let me grant you this. Obviously, what's his face? Angulo was fresher when he fought Kirkland rather than Canelo, right? That's absolutely fair. But I still feel like, okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's not my point, because if you see the first fight against the Angulo Kirkland fight, Kirkland lost that first round, he got dropped, etc. But he won the other part of the round. Obviously, he lost the round, but after that, I mean, it was all Kirkland. I mean, Angulo never existed after that first round. When you see the fight when of Canelo and Angulo, you can see that Angulo was, I don't want to give him too much credit, but he was growing. I mean, he was a free target. You know, he was a punching bag, but he was throwing a lot of punches. And I think that, you know, the best part of that fight was the early part of that fight. I think that Angulo was, I don't want to say okay, but I think that he was growing in the fight slowly. But I don't disagree. I think that fight was a shutout for Canelo.
And the thing that I don't think Canelo gets enough credit for is just his physical strength. And that Angulo fight, say whatever you want about Angulo, that his skills were deteriorating at that point, which I kind of think they were. So I didn't give Canelo that much credit for that win. But the thing that really stood out for me was the fact that Canelo was pushing Angulo back in that fight. And physical strength, you don't lose that just because you grow older. So I feel like in this fight against Kirkland, if Canelo needs to just, bite down on his mouthpiece and he has to clinch, hold, or just have to push James back, I feel like he can do that successfully.
I mean, remember that Angulo was so bad in that fight that people were saying that fight was fixed. And it was not because Canelo was just a better fighter or a great fighter. It was because Angulo's performance was so shitty that people wasn't expecting that. Ask Kimo if not.
It was the body shots, so just rewatch the first 2 rounds of that fight. Now, I mean, the type of body shots that Canelo was investing was I'm not sure how Angulo didn't even get dropped in those first 2 rounds, because he hit Angulo with some incredible body shots to the liver, man.
And not only was he throwing the left hook to the body, he was bringing right hands to the body, like right in the solar plexus. And nobody throws right hands to the body anymore. And that's what I scored when I scored Canelo against Lara. So he's not scared to go to the body, and that's going to drain anybody's gas tank. You get hit with heavy body shots early in the fight.
No, you guys are forgetting that Rebecca got kidnapped, so don't forget.
Oh, yeah. Hey, guys.
But I think that, the biggest factor in this fight is, I mean, what Kirkland will see, because, I mean, his inactivity, we haven't seen anything of him. But I think that if, the right Kirkland, he's, focused, he's concentrated, he can give Canelo a very tough fight. And remember, Canelo, I know that now he's developed as a fighter, but he was having trouble when he faced, Cotto and all the previous Trout opposition. So remember that when, there was this debate if Canelo was a good fighter or was a hype job, a lot of people were, and you too, Dan, you were bringing those points. So don't forget that. I think that this fight with Kirkland is to me, it's gonna tell me a lot of
Mal, can I ask you a question,
Canelo.
please?
Yes. Nah, come on, Mal. This fight isn't gonna prove shit, man.
But I think it would prove how he can do in a dogfight if Kirkland comes at his very best.
Yeah,
I don't think it says much if he beats him, but I'm just saying it'll just show his grit and that he's not just, the pretty boy chosen one and he bites down. I think it's just another notch on his belt, you know what I mean?
I don't know.
I mean, I think that Kirkland, is getting criticized too much for the Ishida fight because he got dropped 3 times. But remember, we have Pacquiao Marquez 4 fights because, that judge didn't stop that fight in the first round. Otherwise, what would we be saying,
Yeah, but now Pacquiao versus Marquez is 2 top guys, and they're not just weight division, but pound for pound. This is fucking Nobuhiro Ishida.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I'm not comparing those 2 fighters with this fighter. I'm just saying that we could have had the chance to see the other 11 rounds. And we don't know about Kirkland Ishida. I'm just saying that.
The thing now is just call me ignorant, but I don't care because he probably would have beat Ishida. That's not my point. Is that why did he get dropped 3 times against a fucking fringe contender at best at that weight division, man? It doesn't make any fucking sense.
I agree. It's a weakness. I mean, we know that. I mean, he got dropped. Every time that he got dropped in the first round. So obviously he has to take care of that. He has to take account of that, and he cannot go and like crazy in the first round because he's weak. He has a cold chin. I don't know say what you want to say, but I think that Kirkland has proved not only that he's weak in the early rounds, but he's very strong when the fight gets on.
Okay, and my bad. I know, Cam, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, Mao, is Kirkland like a secret Argentinian because you're backing him like he's Argentinian?
No, but I mean, I really like Kirkland, and I think that, it's very easy to criticize because he's like a glass cannon, where his biggest strength is his biggest weakness, because he has a weak chin. I mean, people are buying that, and I don't know. I kind of agree because we've seen him getting dropped in the early rounds, but at the same time, the guy is a beast. I mean, he took Angulo's soul, he took Tapia's soul. I mean, he's like the Shang Tsung of boxing, man.
Come on, Tapia is a nobody.
Yeah, but he was beating Kirkland in the early rounds.
Come on now, for one round. Come on, man.
Yeah, one round. Angulo, I mean, Kirkland beat in one round Angulo in a better way than Canelo beat him in 10.
Mouse, what's your official prediction? You think Kirkland on points, or he's going to stop Canelo?
I mean, I think that Kirkland it's better than Canelo. Not technically, but a fighter doesn't need to be a better boxer than other to beat him. So I think that Canelo is going to win this fight just based on Kirkland's inactivity, and we don't know how he's doing in training. I know that he trains a lot, but and he puts a lot of effort in it. But without Wolf, I'm not picking Kirkland. I think Canelo is going to win, but I think that Kirkland doesn't get the credit that he deserves. In part, it's a big fault of Kirkland because, he's not fighting. I mean, he's asking a lot of money to fight. I mean, I know that the guy, it's an idiot, but.
You see, this is why I'm so tired of Kirkland fights. Mao, and you bring up all the points you just made. Those are absolutely valid. But now we have to fucking go through all this bullshit up until Saturday night. It's okay. He has a possibility of being cold, so don't be surprised if he gets knocked out in the first round. So obviously Canelo won't get that much credit. Second, he doesn't have Wolf, so there's another detriment to Kirkland's training. So we got to keep that in mind. And also number 3, his inactivity. So if Canelo does spark him out early, we got to keep that in mind as well. It's like this guy is just a fucking headache, and that's why I'm just tired of giving him any kind of respect or any kind of validity to his career, man, because he just fucking throws it all out the door.
Yeah, but you are not going to be able to achieve what you want. I mean, obviously, to me, Kirkland is a good fighter. So if Canelo beat him, I will give Canelo a lot of credit. But I think that Canelo already has earned a lot of credit by beating Trout, by beating Lara, by going against Mayweather. So, I mean, it's something that you gain with the fights, and you get a special credit for different type of people when you beat fighters that you think that they are tough opposition. And to me, Kirkland is a very tough opposition. We will see. I mean, like you said, maybe Canelo spark Kirkland in one round, and, that wouldn't be strange, but to me, it will be special.
Oh. To me, there's just too many openings, so too many openings for Canelo to pick off.
All right. Anyone on the line got any more thoughts about Canelo Kirkland? I'll take that as a no.
I've changed my pick. I'm picking Canelo.
Did Dan convince you?
Yep.
And also, last thing, Canelo does need a new training team around him, because as good as he is throwing those combinations on the mitt and the bag and whatnot, I mean, his main detriment obviously is his stamina, and those guys don't push him at all, and you can't be that fucking comfortable in training camp and expect yourself to improve, man.
Yeah, what about Chapo's barbecues though? You can't miss out on them.
Yeah, but those barbecues are the reason why Canelo's fat ass.
He can be the cook.
55, man. So, yeah.
All right, sticking with you, Dan. I don't really know much about Frankie Gomez, so do you want to give your thoughts on this fight with Soto?
Oh, you're probably asking the wrong person because I'm so biased. But I like Humberto Soto. I feel like he's one of those veterans who, even though he might look shitty in one fight, he could still do well in his next fight. So I think this is definitely probably Frankie's toughest opposition to date. But I feel like Frankie's just finally focused now. Back in the day, like even a year ago, when he fought Vernon Paris, like you could tell there were certain days where Frankie just wouldn't come to the gym, and now he's just training, twice a day, excuse me. And I feel like Frankie has the goods. He's an explosive fighter. He kind of does remind me of Kirkland a little bit, in just in terms of his activity and his recklessness. But I don't think that's going to really hurt him against Soto. And I think his youth is going to prevail this Saturday night.
Nice. Like I said, I don't know much about Frankie Gomez. Anyone else? Shall I play the crickets?
Yeah, I don't know much about him except that when he's getting interviewed, he's always got this kind of intense look in his eye, like he's a killer, like he's a Mike Tyson, and he treats every sparring session like it's a fight. So I think, I don't know who's he fighting.
Humberto Soto.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
Soto's
we'll kill
coming
him.
off of a big win too.
Yeah, this is a big step up, man.
Do you know was Roach training him, or is he just with Samoda? Being that Roach was busy with
he's
Pac?
mainly with Marvin. He's a Marvin guy, definitely.
Marvin?
Yeah, and I swear, if Frankie loses this fight, this might be the worst year wild card has ever had, man.
Because this is the future of the wild card right here, right?
Exactly.
What's his defense like?
He's
doesn't
a wild
really
card. He don't have none.
Exactly.
His defense is his offense. Hit the other guy first.
Right, exactly.
Oh, so now you care about defense, MV2.
Wow, way to misconstrue our conversation, man.
Now you care. When Floyd does it, it's an issue, but...
you're comparing apples to oranges right now, dude.
Yeah, but at least he's got an offense.
So does Floyd.
Hey guys, come on, let's not go down this path, man.
Yeah, let's just leave it, mate. Nah, okay, I'm picking your boy Frankie Gomez. I think Humberto Soto, he doesn't like that weight class. I know he just came off a big win, but he's been knocked out by Matisse and the like. So I think Frankie.
I think this fight is going the distance.
Yeah, I think so too. He went the distance with Van and Paris in the last fight, and Soto was tough.
Yep.
Matisse, I think, is the only one to stop him, I think.
Yeah, so if Frankie does knock Soto out, you gotta give him some credit. And now, what's up?
I'll give him credit, yeah, why not?
All right, thank you. I'm sure he'd appreciate that if the great Hamada gave him credit. So
No, Flamada.
Yeah, Flamada. I'll definitely relay that information over to him.
All right, let's...
All black, ski mask, glove, tuck the thing. Ski mask swing.
I still got the black ski mask to throw on.
Joe, you're late to the party. No Floyd Mayweather talk. We're talking about upcoming fights. Sorry. Joe? Joe got dumped while he was waiting on the line. Like the caller and the boxing voice.
Oh.
Alright, seems like Joe's not there. Alright, let's continue with this week. Ricky Burns is back. And he's broke. Will that hunger make him be able to beat Omar Figueroa?
No. Alright, go ahead, Joe. Joe, what's up?
Yeah.
Shit. Nothing much, man. Just gonna pick Kirkland, and I'm gonna keep it short, man. I'll shit on Lim the next episode. Lim. Lim.
Joe, you still drunk? Joe, do you want to tell the listeners the story about you dissing all your family that were Pac fans?
Oh, hell yeah, man. Dissed them all. They all had to bow down to me. Kiss the shoes. Yeah, man. But
yep, okay.
I'm picking Kirkland, and whoever Frankie Gomez is fighting, I'm picking against that motherfucker too. I'm going. This year's my year to snatch Lim's soul once and for good.
Nice.
All right, fair enough. Anything serious, Joe?
Nah.
What about Ricky Burns?
Ricky's dead, man. That dude's soul's been gone since like 2012, bro.
2012 was the year he knocked out Kevin Mitchell.
Nice
Like
one,
I said, 2012, baby. I got Omar Figueroa by fucking eating donuts.
Okay, that's sensible.
If we can just segue, I don't know what you guys think. I'll open it up in a second, but I think Ricky Burns, this is his last chance. Very, very last chance. Very, very, very last chance. He's got no money. He's got a kind of bad reputation after robbing two guys. Not at gunpoint or anything, but in boxing. So I think he's probably going to lose this one. He's got a couple of things going against him. One, it's in Texas, which is kind of karma in a way, you know, because certainly when people come to Scotland, they get robbed. But Texas has that reputation as well. Two, it's Figueroa, who's quite good when he puts his fragile hands together. And three, I just think at that weight class, whatever power he had, he'll have even less. So I think Figueroa should win a kind of 8-4 kind of decision.
I want Ricky Burns to win, man. To be honest with you, I want him to win.
Come on, give us that Scottish. Ricky Burns has stole his soul. Come on, Black.
Ricky Burns has stole his soul.
That's all right. You still got it, Joe. You still got it.
Yo, I disagree. I think Ricky Burns is gonna win.
Don't give us that thing about he's broke and he's hungry.
I'll push it to the side, man.
Listen,
I really want Ricky to win, man. Because if he loses, man, that guy is gonna go into a deep depression, man. I feel like he probably might go machete Kell Brook's other leg, man.
Omar Figueroa is one of the most overrated American fighters. He's overrated in my opinion. One of the most overrated.
I agree with that, but look how bad Burns has been looking recently, and I just don't know why he turned to Sims, man, because him and Sims don't seem like they're a good connection.
I just think Ricky Burns, the best guy, Omar Figueroa has fought, and he struggled with people like Jerry Belmontes and Estrada was giving him issues, and we all saw what Kevin Mitchell did to Estrada. I think Ricky Burns wins, and I think it's all about whether he can get the decision. I think he'll beat Figueroa, but I don't know if he'll get the decision. And I'm definitely picking Jamie McDonnell. Definitely.
You're picking Jamie McDonnell?
Comedic shit. He's overrated as well.
You're trolling now. You want people to pick the opposites so you can get the points.
You better put in the league.
I'm definitely picking McDonnell. Comedic shit. Comedic shit.
You got Crow coming. Don't worry.
Yeah, I want you
if
to take a
shit,
picture.
If Kameda shit, then they have to find a new word in the dictionary for McDonnell.
Okay, so you're telling me Kameda in his last fight nearly never lost to that journeyman?
He didn't nearly lose.
Those
he beat
scorecards.
He beat that guy.
Those scorecards were terrible.
Stadium. That guy was good when he won the IBF.
I didn't even think he won that fight.
Yeah, he nicked it, man. He won it.
No, he didn't nick it.
He won it.
I think he lost that fight. I know what fight you're talking about. You're talking about that fight that was on primetime that was mostly bought by like 10 people.
He won the fight. It's gone down in the record as a victory.
Sorry, he didn't win that. Nah. I had Saya win that fight.
I think McDonnell outboxes him. I think McDonnell boxed him off the back four.
McDonnell?
And he outboxed him.
Jamie McDonnell.
He's not that bad. You're not over-exaggerating.
They're McDonnell twins. They're not bums, but they're nothing.
Jamie's way better than Gavin.
Level.
Come on, Gavin shit.
Level.
Gavin shit. But
alright, make sure you put it in the league, because
I'll put McDonnell. I don't know about Burns, but I definitely put McDonnell. Definitely. I'm not even joking. Kameda's overrated. He nearly lost his last fight to a journeyman.
Nah, he won that fight convincingly, and I don't know what the judges were watching.
I don't know what the split was about.
If
he nearly lost that, then Saya dominated McDonnell.
Yo, Hamada, stop trolling, man.
I ain't trolling. I actually watch. You'll see my prediction. In the league, I'm gonna pick Jamie McDonnell, and you're not gonna be shocked. He's got Dave Caldwell in his corner as well.
What's Dave Caldwell ever done as a trainer?
Oh, he done well with Bellew.
What? Cleverly?
Yeah.
One arm cleverly.
Stop it.
I'm gonna pick McDonald, and when he wins, you're not gonna be pissed.
All right.
You're not even backing your flag. This is
I'm
disgraceful.
not, no, I don't back my flag blindly.
What do you mean? Come
And
on, man. This is disgraceful.
I'll never back my flag for McDonald either.
Hey, can we get out of the black hole?
Yeah, I was going to say, this is a black hole fight.
How? The fight's happened in America. How is it black hole?
That doesn't exclude it from being a black hole. It doesn't matter where it is. It's about what we're talking about.
Gulf streams transported the black hole over to Texas.
Exactly. The current has brought that shithole over here, man.
So I'm just disappointed you are not backing your flag. I'm just disappointed.
What weight class is that?
I think it's that.
Too light for you, Chew.
Oh, you mean the Kameda fight? Is it 120? 120? What was it? 18, isn't it? 118.
Yeah.
I think it's the one below super bantamweight.
Yeah, it's bantamweight 118. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I will say is that a Japanese fighter not fighting in Japan, all of a sudden they don't look as good as what they do. That's all I'm saying. So.
He hasn't been fighting in Japan for a while, though.
I was going to say, Chew, have you seen Kameda fight?
I won't lie, no.
Yeah, so you can't really say that, Chew. Come on, bro.
I know what Japanese fighters are like.
Oh, that's a stereotype.
The
So I know
they let you down. So
no one wants to talk about Birmingham and Wembley. The cards in Birmingham, Wembley.
No,
we're ducking that shit.
Bradley Skeet's back. Come on, man.
Yeah. Where's the cricket sound by 1 minute, Hamada? There you go, bro.
Listen, man. Bradley Skeet's the future. You see, Bradley Skeet, yeah. If he signs with Matchroom, he'll fight Kilbrook. He'll get a shot. Because Frankie Gavin got a shot.
Do you really want to be talking about this on the air? Like, I've got to go sleep, man. I don't want to be talking about Bradley Skeet.
I'm trolling, man. But Eddie Hernan,
for the past 20 minutes.
Eddie Hernan is shocking cards, man. Frank Warren as well. He should shoot himself, man. But fucking, what about Eubank? Eubank and Saunders is apparently going to be announced for June 27th.
Yeah, I'll go to the rematch as well.
No,
I can't go, man. I wanted to go, but it's in Ramadan, man. I can't go, man.
I can't bother, to be honest. Maybe if Cam calms down. But I'll say it right now, though. I've got Eubank in decision. I've got Eubank this time, I mean.
Ooh, you got Eubank now.
Why is that?
Because I think Eubank might have learnt more. And he seems more hungry now.
Nice.
I think Eubank will start faster this time. Saunders shouldn't take this. I don't think Saunders should be taking a rematch.
Do you think Frank Warren
going to regret this?
Do you think Warren just keeps wanting Eubank? It's like he wants Eubank to beat Saunders for some reason. Do you get that kind of feeling? Because I do.
I do as well. But what's happening with Andy Lee, though?
He's injured.
Ah, okay.
They're going to fight for the interim.
Right. Makes sense.
I still think Saunders beats him. I don't think Eubank's improved.
I've got Chris Eubank.
Do you want a bit of money?
Oh.
I don't know about that. I don't know. No, I've got Chris Eubank. No, I just think Billy Joe Saunders is just too defensive. I know you like that kind of style, but I don't.
I just don't think Eubank's learnt. And I think Saunders got a good chin. He proved that in the last fight. And if Eubank can't get rid of him, then Saunders is going to win on points.
Cool. Let's leave this discussion for when the fight gets made. Kev's still on his line. His boy Shawnee Monahan's on True TV, I think, in the States on Friday against a Brazilian dude that I've not heard of. Kev, can you give us any information?
I don't think anybody's heard of him.
Is it just?
If you heard of him, you're a real junkie.
Is it just like a stay busy fight?
I guess. I mean, but that's, this guy, actually some people say he has power or something. Who knows? He's fighting other guys nobody knows of. But yeah, he got moved. He got fucked like 3 different times when that Crawford card fell apart the first time. And then the Walters card fell apart. So they had to rush something together and put something together. So that's what happened. He had like 3 different opponents and this got put together and, he wants to fight. He wanted to fight in April, for tax season, I guess. So That's how they do.
And do you know anything about Tapia's opponent? The only thing I think he's French, because I was putting him in the
I don't know
prediction
a
league
thing
yesterday.
about Tapia's opponent, so be interested to see how many, what kind of house is at this place. It's a big ass place to have in the fight, so I don't know how many tickets they could possibly sell. You know, two local guys, kind of, but this isn't like an easy venue for New York to go to. Like, you actually have to drive like a 2-hour trip, like, you know, hour and 45 minutes to get there. It's not like in the city where you just take a quick train ride for 45 minutes and you get to drink on the train and have fun and all that. But supposedly my town got like 3 buses that they're filling up and driving over there. So
Kev's got his seat sorted out.
Kev, can I just say to you, I know Shawnee's your boy, but like, would you not expect him to kind of step up a bit by now?
yeah, oh yeah, but he had multiple fights fall off. Like, what really hurt him was last year, that Mariki fight in June hurt him when he got that headbutt, and he was out of commission for 3 months on medical suspension. And then the Pascal fight fell through. And like Pascal, like in Montreal, they were writing articles that fight was already announced. And since he couldn't go because of the cut, he lost that date. And then the Pascal Kovalev fight fell into his lap, so he lost out on that. And then next up was going to hopefully be Bramer, and cleverly snuck in and probably snaking that out from him. So that's 2 things that they had lined up that basically fell by the wayside. And those are the 2 fights that he wanted. But now that Pascal lost and he's probably looking to come back, maybe that fight happens next in the summer, in the end of the summer. So that would probably be it. But he basically, 100%. Like, this guy is basically the same level as guys 4 or 5 fights ago. You know what I mean?
Kev, what weight is that this fight at? Because this guy's listed as a cruiserweight.
Oh, it's a light heavyweight, so it's a light heavyweight fight. He's fought all over, this guy. He's fought a couple guys. Sean has some weird intercontinental type of belt or whatever. So, like, this guy fought for that belt when it was vacant. And the guy he fought actually moved to cruiserweight. So this guy's a big guy who has, you know, maybe they'll have to make it a catchweight or something. I don't know. But as far as I know, it's a light heavyweight fight because he's cutting weight. So, but I just saw him yesterday at a fair. We had a fair right by the boardwalk, a little carnival, like with the merry-go-rounds and all that shit. And he's looking fresh, so he's ready to go. But hopefully in June, they promised him in June something big. Also, another fight that fell through was supposedly the Butte fight. And Butte's whole career just started changing. Next thing you know, he signs with Heyman. He's going to Roach. He's not going to Roach. So he basically had 3 fights fall through. And, no, it's kind of tough to step up.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, with Sean, I think it's a race against time. Not just because of his age. Because, was he 32?
He's older. He's older than 32. I'm 32, so he's 33.
Yeah. Like, that division is going to be very, very, very stacked soon.
Oh, yeah. And that's another thing, though. Where they match him, he's got to have that one step-up fight, and he's got to have his best chance, because after that, if he has to fight one of these young lions next, you know, the guys like Alvarez and Beterbiev and shit like that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Those are the future, so he's got to get a win against, you know, a bigger name and make his money, as opposed to fighting one of the up-and-comers and not make as much money. And he's also in a tough situation where, like, they would want to step him up a little bit, but the fact that he draws so much money and sells so many tickets, like, he's got to get paid a certain level, and that makes it hard to find an opponent because, you know, just a fake number, just to throw out even numbers. Say he's making $50,000, right, for a fight. For his fight, it might only be like a $60,000 budget, so it's hard to get a $10,000 opponent to come into somebody's hometown on somebody else's top-ranked card and see what they're going to do. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And so at that point, you kind of got to just take somebody that you could pay, you know?
Yeah.
Because if, like, he took the Mariki fight because the guy who beat Mariki before got the shot at Kovalev, the guy Caparillo. So he's like, all right, this is a name recognition, similar opponent. Let me fight him. And then he tried getting the Carpensy fight. And Carpensy, the guy who beat Dawson, I guess it was like a price out, you know?
Mm.
So it's very hard. He can't get that middle level guy, so he has to get a top level guy. And actually, you know, he got a call in September from Adonis Stevenson, but then the whole Heyman top rank thing, and at the time he was out on medical suspension. So he was like, oh, you want to fight September 14th? And he's coming off a medical suspension September 9th. So he's like, all right, I get 1 week to train. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not going to fight for a title on 1 week of training and no sparring, you know? So it was just the Pascal fight, I think, is his best chance at getting a big fight. And that's the type of guy where, you know, if he goes in and he gets knocked out in the first couple of rounds when he gets hit hard by a world-class puncher, you know, it validates what people were saying. You know what I'm saying? If he goes in and he scraps out and he outlasts the guy and goes 12 and wins, then he gets another big fight. And, you know, it's something that can make happen. You know, he beats a Pascal, then he can fight a Kovalev in the Garden and make another big money payday before getting on the way out, like you said, before he's 35.
Yeah, just to say, I think him and Pascal would be. I would favour Pascal, I've got to be honest with you, but if he catches him, I think Pascal, after that Kovalev fight, you know, he's not going to be the same.
Yeah. Well, the thing about Pascal is he's not that big. Like I told you, we were standing in Vegas and Pascal was right there, and Sean, he was a lot bigger than him. Like, Pascal looks muscular and huge on TV, but when you stand right next to him, you know, we were both bigger than the guy. And, you know, Sean fights a big, long guy with a great jab. You know, it's going to be tougher. Whereas Pascal doesn't have the technical abilities. I think Bramer would be tougher than Pascal, just by style. You know what I mean? Mm. But the thing is, Pascal, you know, put Bernard Hopkins on the deck twice and buzzed him another time. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, Sean, you could say what you want about sparring because he sparred with great guys and world-class guys. But when you put those 10-ounce gloves on and no headgear, we got to see if he could take a punch from one of those guys. You know what I mean? Because you don't know yet. But, you know, like I said, you know, guys like Tony Bellew that were world-class, that were fighting for titles, you know, he went with. And other guys I know that fight for titles, I've seen him spar against, and I don't see him getting outclassed. But once you put on 10-ounce gloves and it's a real fight and it's under the big lights, you know, maybe they have another level that he don't have, and he's just a gym guy. So that's something that, you know, you're not going to find out until it happens. And I pretty much think that June or July is when he's going to get his big fight. He's going to make his money, and he's going to have his chance to prove if he's you know, a club fighter who could sell tickets, or he's a legit contender that deserves to be ranked in the top 10 in all 4, you know, major divisions like he is. And like you said, these young guys are coming up, man. And he spars with that guy that everybody's talking about, Sergey, the guy who just fucked somebody up the other day on Showtime. You know, he spars with those guys, and, you know, so he's getting great work. That's the one thing about New York. Like, he came around at the right time when there's a lot of great work, you know, between 160 and 175.
Good shout. And if he's beating Bellew, I know we've talked about this for a bit. Bellew beat Chilemba, and everybody's kind of talking about Chilemba as being a bit of a problem nowadays. So, I mean,
yeah, and he held his own with Bellew in the gym, and Bellew was, you know, getting ready for a fight, and he was in sick shape. Bellew came to New York and beat up a lot of guys and did really well. And Bellew's a big fuck. Like, I seen Pascal, I seen Stevenson, right back to back with each other, right when I was with Sean, and neither one of them looked big. I see Bellew. Bellew's a big motherfucker.
I'd say fat.
Yeah,
Fatty.
yeah. I definitely. There's a definite difference between athleticism and build between those guys. But I'm just talking about overall, just mass, like a big man. Like, he's just a big guy.
Kev, you know, Bellew's going to be in the next Rocky film, or
is
something.
it?
It's not a Rocky film. It's like
it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Creed.
Yeah, supposedly he shoots Sean messages before fights and stuff and wishes them luck and back and forth and shit. So Besides telling Paulie Malignaggi he was beating Shawnee up in training before commentary for that fight, but he's a cool guy, I guess, with him.
Chew, I want to go back to you just quickly with Ricky Burns, because I think Joe jumped on and he kind of took us down a different direction. What's your thoughts on that fight against Figueroa? You think he can stop him? I mean, you think he can beat him?
No. No, just he's not got the power to stop him. He's not going to get a decision in Texas. So, and in a way, if the fight's close, then it's karma because he's had so many close fights where he's robbed the other guy or the judges have robbed him. So,
you think he's going to sell out and just have that high work rate, that like a bull, going there like a bull?
Yeah, he's got no choice. He's got to lay it out, sell out. Yeah, like you said. He's got to, I think, knowing that kind of attitude that he's going to have, I think it's going to be a really interesting fight because Figueroa won't have to go looking for him. Ricky's just going to come straight at him. And that's stupid because he's not got the power to make him go backwards. But then I don't think, honestly, I think Ricky Burns' chin is fucking granite. Like, he's been in with Crawford, he's been in with Beltran, he's had his jaw broke, he's never been stopped, never went down. Well, he's went down, but he's never been really hurt. The last guy he fought is like a cannon. Turns out he's actually not as bad as what people were saying, even though I've kind of criticised him in the past. I just think Ricky Burns, this is it, this is the last chance. Will he win? Nah. Holy fuck.
Fair enough. Ari, Hamada, do you guys know who's going to be in his corner? Because obviously Sims has got fighters on the Birmingham card as well. You guys heard anything about that?
I think Sims is over there.
Has he gone with him?
Yeah, Sims, Mitchell. I think I see Mitchell and that. They're over there as well training. So I think they're over there, yeah.
Cool. All right. Mal? I know you've been on the line. You didn't really discuss much earlier on. Anything you want to talk about before we go? Mal? My weight? Alright. Let's get some final thoughts because I'm tired as fuck. It's like 1:30 in the morning. 1:30 in the morning. Hamada, you got any final thoughts?
Just Floyd TBE.
Okay, I'll hang up on you now. Kev, any final thoughts?
How's your knee, bro?
It's a bit better today.
Alright, man. You got that swelling down?
Nah, the swelling's still there, but the pain's a bit still. The pain's gone, the swelling's still there.
Alright, man. Coalition taking some lumps. I start getting better, you get worse, man. So see what's up. Leon's in the background all banged up, so.
We're the Glass Coalition.
That's it, man. But fuck, man. Nah, I got nothing else, man. Just, I just want to thank you again for letting me host that little chemo special and get some shine some light on my Mixler channel. And thanks to everybody who subscribed and keep a lookout, when I drop some shows and stuff like that. And I appreciate it.
No problem, Kev. Ari, got any final thoughts?
Nah, man, I'm good.
Okay, Chew, final thoughts?
Yeah, Mike Tyson said, I was a killer, but these guys are like businessmen. And Hamada, I hope you read that article.
Well, Tyson maybe needed a bit of business or he wouldn't have wasted 30 million.
Who cares about Mike Tyson now, man? He's irrelevant. Nobody don't care.
The guys on the American version of Stars on Your Rise and fucking ballerina tights and shit.
Yeah, you could tell Hamad and Ari like in their early 20s, innit? They don't care about Tyson.
Yeah.
Fucking
Tyson could take his daughter to the bus stop and not have to have eight security guards, bro. That's the difference.
Yeah, cool. You saw that interview, Kev, yeah?
Yeah, there's a difference, man.
True.
When you're a man of the people or you're a man hated by the people, there's a big difference. Derek Jeter's more popular than Floyd Mayweather ever was, and he never need bodyguards in New York.
It doesn't matter. I couldn't give two fucks. It's got nothing to do with me.
Bodyguards.
But yeah, Tyson was a beast. Tyson went out to kill the other guy, as he said in the article. He was a natural born killer. Styles make fights. I'm just saying that's what boxing needs to become. The next star to be like Tyson, for it to kind of get the fans back. And I'm out. That's it.
Bodyguards for what? I'd rather shoot.
MV casual.
Flamada.
Flamada actually suits you, Hamada.
Rolls right off.
Nah. Yeah, man. But yo, thank you to everyone that's listened. We'll be back next week. Good night.
You just listened to the Boxing Coalition.
Dude, man, I love boxing. I fucking love boxing.
A big shout out to the Boxing Coalition.
You're a newbie.
No, I ain't new, man.
If my fucking next door neighbour became the #1 flyweight in the world, you know what I'd do? I'd fucking walk past the cunt.
Derek, how you doing, bro?
I was physically bun you, blood.
I disagree.
First time I hear the show, man, it was fucking badass.
Vamos a Argentina, la concha de su madre.
I see the bomb in them.
I get home and she's like, what the fuck? Me and the kid are here. Why don't you get home and talk to us? I'm like, man, you guys don't know shit about boxing.
Kel, how does it feel to be the new IBF champion?
Feels great. Great.
Did we really dive into the black hole right off the jump?
I think he's hiding glass.
Just to play devil's advocate.
You want 1 portion of crow or 2 portions of crow?
Give me 2 portions with a supersized fries and a large drink, please.
I can't stand him, what? I'm Scottish.
Cringe side?
But you won't rush Anthony fucking fat ass Joshua, would you?
He's not fat.
How about you tell us what you weigh for your final thoughts?
My weight?
Thank you for listening to the Boxing Coalition. We are live every Monday, 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. UK time, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern.